This is heavy, man. This is what it is. Your father and your mother, they must have both gone to the ritualistic, rhythmic teenage ritual. Like, fucking Christ. Guys, I wanna wrap this up around 9:15. All right, well, enjoy the next 9 minutes of show.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You're watching Midweek Geeks. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. And hey, Tom Dog. Hey, Jennifer. How's it going? We got a fun show scheduled for you. Steve's going to be joining us shortly. But Powerful Brandon, how's it going?
It is going. Another fun-filled, fantastic Wednesday here at the Midweek Geeks show. Stuff happened, and we're going to talk about it.
Hey.
If we can fit it in the next 8 minutes, according to
you. Jar Jar.
Oh, I'm excited for the next 8 minutes. Like, this is going to be action-packed.
It's going to be the best 8 minutes you had all day.
All three of us just doing our best to sound like the Micro Machine guy from the 80s and 90s. So, Brent, I saw this thing about slice of it.
I overdid it today. I'm a bit tired, so I made myself a dirty chai, which is good. Maybe that will help.
What's that mean?
You just squeeze the leavings in a rag that you used to wipe down the counter into a cup.
Sounds delish.
Dirty chai. It's chai tea, but I threw. I didn't have a shot, so I just threw some coffee in there and a little chocolate milk.
Wait, a shot of what?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a shot of coffee. Like espresso.
Espresso. There's no E in espresso. Espresso.
You mean there's no X in espresso?
Yeah, that too. I mean, you're not the only one that's fucking tired, Leo. Shit.
It's okay. I'm sitting in a sauna right now. I just learned that building your man cave in a attic space gets really rough in the summer.
Yeah, and today is wicked warm. Like,
did you build it over the winter?
Yes.
Yeah, science is a real bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, science.
I got excited. Like, I had room, and I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? Threw everything out, and now I'm like, oh my god!
Time to get yourself a nice box fan to act as exhaust for the room.
Window.
For real.
Hey, Jesse. Oh, thank you. All the love, you guys rock.
Thanks.
Oh, thanks, Jesse.
Jennifer
was speaking Italian to us when she said something.
Fragile. Yeah.
Fragile. It's Italian. It's fancy.
Jar Jar, you have a window up there?
I do. I'm gonna pop the AC into it. It's actually perfectly positioned right behind the computer and stuff, so it'll cool the computer. Hopefully, it won't be too loud.
Yeah.
We'll find out, won't we?
We sure will. Sooner than I thought we were going to.
Tune in next week when we decide to start our GoFundMe for Jeremy's unidirectional microphone.
Last year I investigated like quiet air conditioners, and I thought I was getting like the most quietest one. They lie. They all lie.
Sounded like a PlayStation 4.
Yeah,
Jet carrier taking off.
I thought you guys said this shit was quiet. Well, it is. I mean, compared to a fighter jet, right?
Well,
I mean,
okay,
it's a fighter jet in your room, doesn't it?
it's, in all honesty, it is quiet if you don't want it to cool. You know?
Yeah, if you don't turn it on.
So your choice is being deafened and comfortable physically, or feeling as though you are doing your best impression of Frosty the Snowman once springtime has hit, and being able to hear.
Yep.
Man, that's a real Sophie's Choice moment if I've ever heard one, particularly regarding podcasting. Holy flirkin' schnit. And I mean, I'm a fat, hairy guy, so like I know my choice. Every other word out of my mouth on the show, like what?
Matter of fact, I our air conditioner in our bedroom died, so my wife got a new one today. One of the portable ones.
Oh.
So I had to carry that up a couple flights of stairs, and that was tiring. I'm still feeling wiped, but I know this is all like geek news, but
yeah, this is.
Yeah, sounds it.
Well, we normally have the AC going like year round because our apartment gets really warm.
Should have just called this week's episode 3 Pasty Guys Complain About Heat.
Well, I swear what it is heat's included in our rent. So I swear
everybody's just like,
oh yeah, I swear it's the next neighbor just cranking the heat. Like I admit I'll crank it when it's cold, but
why do you have the heat cranked? It's free. Yeah, but it's 78 degrees outside. I don't think that's necessary. Well, tomato, potato, tomato, right?
Well, it is Navy housing, so I'm sure a lot of them come from like down south or warmer climates.
Fucking adjust, Jesus.
Carrie says there are some pretty decent oscillating fan towers that aren't too noisy that could work for you during the podcast if you keep the AC off just during shows.
Okay, guys, I know. I'm gonna cool my room next week. I'm never bringing this up again.
It'll come up. Don't worry. I mean, there have legitimately been episodes like over the past couple of years where it has been 90 something degrees outside, and I actually kick off the AC in the house for the duration that we're doing the show because you can kind of hear it a little bit, and I don't want it to obfuscate any of this. It's just pollution to what we're doing here, and I have legitimately been like, oh, a nice T-shirt, nice Roosevelt shirt, cap, and everything from the waist down is just like skivvies, bare feet, and like a fan that's like 6 feet away from me that I have just blowing the gentlest breeze so you can't hear it. I mean, I have a desk fan, a Vornado right here, and I wish I could turn it on right now even. But if I do, you're going to hear this the whole time. You hear that?
No, you're actually okay.
Oh, well, fuck you guys. This is staying on there. Never mind, everyone. I have no dog in this fight anymore.
My wife tells me we need to save money and stuff like that, but I made a mistake. I found a store today. Carrie's a nice fan. You ever hear of Show Z?
No.
I mean, I actually no. I did hear about it like 7 seconds ago.
So I believe they're. I don't know if they're located in Japan, but they have stuff wicked cheap. I ordered this today. Fourth party Transformers G1 Optimus Prime. So it's a remake. It's a reissue of the original one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's like full blown metal.
I don't know if it's gonna be
Oh,
full blown metal, but like I wish they showed the
It's not
box art.
diecast. I have no interest.
Oh, the
If
box
it's not
art.
something like what my uncles had when I was a little kid that could easily double as, the focus of somebody's murder trial, then I have no interest.
Well, when I get it, I will tell you. But
are,
the box art, it's packaged exactly how it was in what, like 84.
nice.
Yeah.
Are you able to once I got him into robot form, getting him back into car form was almost impossible without the instructions. Like,
Oh, you just gotta keep on trucking.
The original ones, like when I was a kid, I like memorized the transformations, but like the new ones, as soon as I transform, it goes on the
got too
shelf.
old, huh?
Yeah, I got too old. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
way too complicated now. It's like, what the fuck?
it's like video games.
Yeah. Holy shit! I decided to give Elden Ring an honest try. Fuck that game.
July to it before.
Oh
No.
my god. My wife
Oh,
got it
man.
for me for Christmas, and I was excited to play it. And I started playing it when I first got it, and was like, "Holy crap, this is too hard." And then I've been
And
watching.
then I
Like,
stopped playing it once I
yeah,
started playing it. That's
I,
basically the story, right?
well, it's
Pretty
the
much.
type of game like as soon as you first start, like right away, the first room is like a boss, and it kills you. You can like
Oh, that's
the boss.
bullshit. You don't even know the freaking moves yet.
No, I know. Like
I,
the
I
boss.
I appreciate the story construction here, Leo. How it's like, hell yeah, I had the game. Fuck that game. Now let me tell you everything in between that made me come to that conclusion.
So yeah, like the first room, you're like
Memento.
plopped right in front of a boss, and it's like the boss is beatable if you're good enough, but you're like meant to die, and then like you get like reincarnated, and that's where you enter the world and whatnot. Um, but
Sounds like you cracked the code on starting it. Then I'm you know
well,
what? Far be it from me to give anybody shit for saying fuck this game and giving up, because that's how I live my life with video games. Like, oh, this is pretty cool. This part's hard. Give me the game genie. They don't make that for this shit anymore. Shut it off. Like,
So sad. So sad.
it's just so friggin' difficult. I got so frustrated, I shut it off. I'm probably never gonna play it again.
yeah, listen, video games, as far as I'm concerned, I can only speak for me, obviously. I don't want to make a sweeping statement about gamers, because it's a legitimate hobby. People are super into that, and that's awesome. For me personally, though, I want to play a video game to like be a little challenged, yeah, but I want to unwind.
Yeah.
I don't want to like clock out from my 9 to 5, and then when I'm like, oh yeah, let's unwind a little bit here. Let me turn on the Nintendo Switch or the PlayStation or whatever, and then just sit there and worry about what my doctor's gonna say the next time I go for my appointment, and he sees that like I've clearly been having blood pressure issues, and he's surprised that my nose isn't bleeding right then and there in his fucking office, because I've just been beating myself senseless trying to get past a level on like fucking Metroid or some happy horse shit. You know what I mean? Like, let me just have fun, please. God, Super Mario Galaxy, easy peasy, rice and cheesy. I'll take it. I can't do all the other shit. It's too much. And I'm not talking like I play plenty. I like Zelda and
Yeah.
and all kinds of stuff, but nah, man, give me a
I don't
good
have
Spider-Man.
time for those games anymore.
I think the last game I seriously zeroed in on, aside from Link's Awakening for Switch or whatever when it came out, was like one of the Batman games, like Arkham City or whatever.
Yeah.
I fucking played those games like throughout the night. Like I just couldn't. I hyper focused on them, and
I think those hit every feel though. It was just like I know all these characters and I want to know more, and it had a great story. And the only thing, the Batmobile, when that I forget which one was Arkham Knight, the Batmobile was overutilized. Too much. Too much Batmobile.
I can dig on it. I mean, I also really was like before, like around sort of the same time when like Arkham Asylum came out, Ghostbusters, the video
Oh,
game,
yeah.
that shit, that rocked my socks off. But like, it's few and far between that I'm really like champing at the bit or jonesing for like a new release. Like, I love horror stuff, but I won't play horror video games. Mostly because, first of all, I fucking hate jump scares, and not because like they get me. I fucking hate them. Like, tell me a scary story and give me scary shit, but don't like just all of a sudden have something jump out of the screen. It's like, okay, what was all the story build up for? Like, that's like that's the trope, that's the cheap gimmick a lot of time. And certainly I have like the virtual reality headset for PlayStation 4, and people are like, oh, the new Resident Evil game. I'm like, if you think that I'm gonna get the new Resident Evil game for VR, you're out of your ever loving mind.
Oh, what about that Heights game?
Oh, dude, I've played a few games on the VR set, and they like actually there was this Jurassic Park thing where like it was just a movie, and like you got to sit and the Universal sign comes up, and it's some freaky shit.
Yeah, I got the Iron Man game for it, and that was bananas, man. Like flying around and
Oh,
everything.
nice.
I really almost really seriously fucked my shit up in my living
Oh,
room.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
And,
why
like,
don't they make this wireless? This is stupid.
How do those work with glasses?
I wouldn't know. I didn't.
I take off
wasn't
my
wearing
glasses when
I
wearing.
wasn't wearing glasses, so yeah. My guess would be with great difficulty. That's just my guess. You know, but once again, like after a while too, playing the few different games I had for it, I was like, all right, this is like a bit too much now. Like, this is too immersive. I don't have like a separation here. Like, I'm standing in the middle of this room. I've been moving around slightly and trying to do all this stuff, and now I literally have no idea where the fuck I am in the actual physical space in which I dwell. Like, there were times where I legitimately like pulled that VR headset off, and I was like, all right, I know what the fuck? Why am I facing the complete opposite direction? Like, wasn't even facing the TV. I'm like, when did I turn? But yeah, I'm just saying, like, I totally get getting frustrated with a video game and just being like, yeah, you know what? It's a lovely thought, but if push comes to shove, and I'm really interested in the altogether the story and everything, I will just go to YouTube. Show me all the cutscenes mashed together. Thank you very much. So even though I played the game and I beat it, I mollywopped it like a redheaded stepchild. When I wanted to go back and revisit, I would just, before we got Ghostbusters Afterlife, Part 3, as far as I was concerned, was Ghostbusters the video game. So I just watch all the cutscenes of that mushed together, and I'm like, this is great.
No, I just finished playing Red Dead Redemption 2 again, just because it's easy. I already knew everything, what I was doing, and just went through, shot people, rode a horse. I was like, yep, I'm living my life.
Hey, J-Bo.
J-Bo.
Hey.
We might talk a little bit about toys in a little bit.
Oh, I thought we were talking about toys. It led into video games.
Oh,
so.
yeah, we did. Yeah,
we
did
started at a toy.
Yeah, we know. Transformers, Leo. We got it.
So the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer dropped today. The latest one.
Oh, okay. I missed it too. That's not the Marvel trailer that I was up on this week.
No, I had the Marvels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll definitely talk about the Marvels, but
I hope so.
Apparently Nathan Fillion's in this.
He was in the first one.
In the trailer?
Oh. He was in the first movie.
I guess he's in the trailer.
Like Nathan Fillion himself, his face, or...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess this is first like real life.
And Nathan Fillion was the voice of the alien who stepped to Groot and Rocket in the jail that they all got incarcerated in. That Groot stuck his fingers up his nose and like dropped him like a bad habit. That was Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, he's actually physically in it, like his
Oh.
face. Also, the trailer shows Stallone as well. Oh, there it was. Hold on, I just saw it.
He's so
Cosmo.
cute, though.
Yep, there it was.
Oh yeah, hey, he's in an orange suit.
There we go.
Huh.
Neato.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
That's Nathan Fillion.
Well, I know who that is. What's the suit?
Jabo
I-
says I'm gonna be back prepping for Wicked Comic Con. Have a great night, guys. Thanks, Jabo.
Hey, good
Thanks,
luck
Jay.
for Wicked. Is
Yeah.
that this weekend?
don't think-
I know there's a few cons going on this weekend.
Yeah, I
like
think it
Little
might
Giants.
be. I'm going to a block for shorts at the Shawnee Film Festival
Oh, good for
on
you, man.
Saturday. Yeah, Pat's going to be there with Ashes, and then on Sunday I'm actually going to Bruce-orama, the Bruce Campbell thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's going to be at the Cabot in Beverly, Massachusetts, and it's a last Geek Standing or something like that. And I guess it's just like trivia for everyone to partake in.
Oh, no
And,
shit.
Yeah, so a couple different people like, oh, Brandon, you got this in the bag. I'm like, I think you greatly overestimate the amount of nerdy shit I know compared to the number of people that will be in that audience. I guarantee it.
Well, good luck to you, sir. Maybe
Well,
you'll
thanks.
take home
Thanks.
your own Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, that'd be something. That would be something. I just, I'm going for the fun of it. The show and the pageantry, and if anything else comes of it, phenomenal. And if not, phenomenal.
Another trailer that dropped today. The Penguin.
Yes,
Yeah, their in production teaser.
he is now the crime boss.
Yeah.
How many episodes is the series? And is it only supposed to be like one season, or is it a continuing series? Anybody?
I don't know. I literally have not been following. Was that Kristen Milioti? Right there. Oh yeah, she's great. I love Kristen Milioti. She's been in any number of things. She was in that movie with what's his face? Andy Samberg, Palm Springs, the time loop thing.
Oh,
And she also played the titular mother in the last season of How I Met Your Mother. Oh, Carmen Ejogo. She's great. That's funny, man. Carmen Ejogo's in this, and Jeffrey Wright. That's nuts, man. Jeffrey Wright, who plays Commissioner Gordon in the Matt Reeves Batman.
Yeah.
He and Carmen Ejogo were married and have kids. They got divorced several years ago, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
It comes out next month?
No. Max.
Oh, Max.
Oh. I got
Whoa. All right. Calm down, Leo.
Read all of the words.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. HBO is now just Max.
Well, it will be Max.
Yeah, it's strange because they're taking on Discovery Plus to become Max, which I'm like, hold on, you're adding a new thing.
I thought they weren't gonna mix them.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
They are. But it is what it is. We'll see how it pans out. I will say between both platforms, that's an awful lot of stuff that they can offer.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't care for the vast majority of what Discovery has to offer because I think that reality television is the death of. That's where thoughts go to die. There's a reason, and I hate it because it's like such a 7th grade, 8th grade, junior high style book. But like Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, I mean. They ban books in that story, and one of the things that Guy Montag, the main character, his wife does is she watches the television all the time, like most people do. but there's no writers or anything, so the shows are very interactive, and it's like Seinfeld to the nth level. They're all shows about nothing. So you may as well just go in there like fucking Scarlett O'Hara and say fiddle dee dee every other fucking line, and it really doesn't matter for anything. And that just goes to show how vacuous the population has become. And that's literally the feeling I get whenever I see commercials for any reality television show. Big Brother, I mean, especially Big Brother. I mean, they literally took the fucking name from George Orwell's 1984, for crying out loud. Like,
You.
the irony is palpable in that. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, like you guys think this is clever, but it's actually
It's
fucking
really the
horrifying.
worst of the worst kind of
Oh.
people too that go on these things to like
Well, the
fight it
bitch
out.
of it,
Not all of them, but
the bitch of it is like I can understand if they were like docu-series, like documentary series. You know, when you look at The Real World, the first like couple of seasons that they did it on MTV, such a different animal from what that show and reality television in America stemmed from, that like became. These were just real people. They weren't being performative. Like, yeah, sometimes they yelled, sometimes they cried, sometimes they didn't have anything to say at all, but it was very true to like who those people were. And there was very little producer involvement slash meddling, like trying to artificially induce like dramatic proceedings into everything. And as time went on, they wanted to make everything more titillating, and that's what we've seen across the board in any number of these. Like, that's how you end up with fucking absolute pieces of garbage like The Bachelor.
My
I can't
Big
even
Brother,
believe stuff
my
like that's
first
still going. Sorry, go ahead.
no worries. My first wife loved that show, Big Brother, and every year I'm like, I'm not gonna watch that shit. I'm not gonna watch that shit, and get fucking sucked into it every year. And then we had to subscribe to like the Showtime so that you have access to like the cameras at night, and it's like, oh, what the fuck?
Wow, Leo.
Oh my god, that it's you lose IQ points just watching the damn thing.
I feel like I'm losing IQ points listening to you fucking talk about losing IQ points from watching it. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, but it happened. It happens like across the board. I mean, and the worst part about it is, places like Discovery and like Bravo in History Channel and A&E, they're completely different things from what they were, and they were so much better when they differentiated themselves from the other offerings across the board, especially for like cable networks and stuff. I mean, Bravo was where you went to like actually see like cultured stuff. You could see friggin' operas performed on Bravo, specifically for Bravo. You could see foreign films, no problem. A&E, I mean, they covered so many different things that really involved arts and entertainment. And they really hit their stride when they were doing like Biography, and In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy. And then I think one of the things that really kind of screwed around with how those two worked was, funny enough, Project Runway. I actually watched Project Runway for the first like few seasons because it did initially start off as a show that was just about these very talented people who were trying to show what they were capable of to try and become a professional designer. And once again, it was very similar to how The Real World had started off in the 90s, where it was, just real people doing their thing. Some people got along, some people didn't. But the people who didn't get along, they like stayed out of each other's way. Like there was no shit talking, none of that. Everybody was focused like lasers on what they needed to do. And where people could help one another, they would. Where it would hinder anything that they wanted to, they were very straightforward. Like, I really wish I could help you with this, but I have my own stuff I have to worry about. I'm sorry, And it was like people being people, and it got to a point where it wasn't doing so hot on A&E, so they moved it over to Bravo. And once they moved it to Bravo, it got tweaked, and you started to see that manufactured drama get injected into everything. and A&E was like, well, maybe there's like other kind of like reality things we could do, and then they became the fucking channel of what, Duck Dynasty. Yeah, thanks for nothing.
And the Pawn shows.
Yeah, Pawn Stars and
and the worst is the fucking tow truck shows.
Oh, those were not even. I tried one of those one time, and it was just like, this is completely scripted. There's not one piece of reality in here.
Yeah, I have a love-hate
Lady
relationship.
ripped the goddamn door off a truck. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I have a love-hate relationship with Discovery Plus because me, I watch the paranormal shows, and like they have certain shows that are now Discovery Plus only. Like Ghost Hunters moved over to Paranormal Plus. Kindred Spirits is Paranormal Plus. But the organization of the whole series of channels is just so bizarre. It's like there's no rhyme or reason as of what gets placed where. Like they have a paranormal section, like it's all the paranormal stuff, but like when you're trying to find if there's anything new, it's just so difficult. It's so unorganized. So hopefully when they bring it into Max, it'll get more organized so you can actually tell like what's new.
Never mind organized. I miss some of the headier stuff that especially Discovery would show. I mean, I remember years ago, I watched it was like one of those deals. I was working nights and stuff like that, and there wasn't much on, and I saw Discovery, and I kind of like left it on because it was like the tail end of some animal thing or whatever.
Storage
And
was good.
yeah, I
started off good.
I started, and I remember specifically there was this special, and it was actually about people, transgender people, and it went through and showed like everything that is necessary for them to be able to live their truest lives. And it's like it's not cut and dry. It's like, oh hey, here I am, and that's it. People who legitimately were going through the process of being able to change their body to match exactly who they are, and the amount of preparation, psychological and emotional preparation for such a thing, like it's a years long process, especially because they want to make sure that people are doing this for the correct reasons. Like it's not any kind of identity crisis that they may be dealing with. And one of the most interesting cases in the entire like hour and a half long thing, because I got sucked in because it was all based on science and documenting this. There was a man who had been born a woman, and he went through the entirety of the process, and he spent so long in doing everything the right way, and taking hormones and getting top surgery, and then eventually getting complete surgery. And when he was presenting as a woman, his sexual orientation was his dead self. She was a lesbian. He finally fully transitioned, and he had worked so hard, and he got buffed, and he shaved his head, and he had a nice goatee and stuff, and he was a handsome dude, honestly. I mean, he was a little small because he was only like 5'4", but whatever, like and he was like, yeah, and after all this time, I've spent so much time in having to evaluate who I am even after the fact, and still continuing with therapy because it's always good to just stay healthy. I realized that my orientation shifted, and I'm now attracted to men. And I was just like, what the fuck? That is like, I mean, in like, you could tell it threw him for a loop, and even he said it, and he was like, maybe part of it was like I was so focused on the male physique and molding my body to finally get to that point, that it was a focal point, and it encroached into my own orientation, and that's what I'm attracted to now. And I was like, that is like a hell of a thing to realize, after all that work that you did. And he was in a very loving relationship with his boyfriend. His boyfriend was like a super cool dude. Um, but yeah, it was just like it goes to show you just like how gender and orientation are very fluid things. And it wasn't done for titillation. This special, it was done for information. It was done for educational purposes. I mean, I remember seeing a thing on Discovery that blew my fucking mind. It was actually another like physical health type thing, and it was talking about like the effects of what can happen in utero, and like a lot of it was environment versus and inheritance, whether or not it was where you grew up, how you grew up, or what you were provided with genetically. And I watched this doctor line up 5 runners, and he took just a few seemingly arbitrary measurements of like hands and like width of neck, and then he wrote a number down on a piece of paper and put them in 5 different envelopes, and then put a string around each envelope and put an envelope on around the necks of each one of the runners. Then he had them race, and then he had them stand in order of first to fifth, and they each opened their envelope, and first to fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the envelopes, the order that
Oh,
they
wow.
fucking finished.
That's
And he was like, and the only measurement that I actually used to make that prediction was the size of their ring finger comparative to the size of their pointer finger. And it turns out, as a man, the more testosterone that you are exposed to in utero, the longer your ring finger will be in comparison to your pointer finger. Now, see, your pointer and ring finger are pretty even.
I got a good inch going on.
Yeah, look at mine. It's like it's fully. Here's my ring finger, and then here's my pointer. It's like the same size as my fucking pinky. Which makes sense. It kind of lines up with the idea of like male pattern baldness. That part of that is an overage of testosterone. But yeah, it was bananas. Like I remember specifically seeing that. I was like, wow, that's nuts. You don't learn shit like that on Discovery anymore. You don't see things like that. It's all fucking Bridezilla, fucking 90 Day Fiance horse
Can't
shit.
even remember the last time I put Discovery on.
I couldn't tell you. I think the last time I put Discovery on was just like several years ago when they were doing that mermaid special, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be fun because it's clearly just for funsies. And then people were like, yo, they found a mermaid. I'm like, you're all stupid. I can't believe you folks.
Well, let's see what's hot on Discovery Plus right now.
The Alaska Triangle.
Yeah, that's one of the shows I watched. Renovation 911 is new. Moonshiners is new.
Moonshine.
Like, you can just go to the liquor store, right?
Right.
It's a lot safer out
I like to distill my own liquor. Yeah, I like to buy it because I'm cool with other people taking the risk of killing themselves.
Yeah, right.
That's just me though. Is that Terry O'Quinn?
Yeah.
Mysteries of the
From
Missing.
the Lost. That's the guy from Lost, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And any number of things.
Yeah. So like they're
Blind
promoting,
Fury with Rutger Hauer.
like they're promoting this show. You would think it's new, but it came out in 2017.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, sure.
maybe they want to get a second season.
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. This is Ghost Hunters, Ancient Aliens. Aliens. Oh my God. Like, yeah, we all know that aliens built the pyramids. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It couldn't have been
Found
the
a
mathematically
billion
advanced
slaves.
culture of Egypt. This
No.
one of the two most advanced cultures, Egypt and Greece, having a hard on for one another because they both liked math. No, heaven
No,
forbid
but-
that they figure out that they have hundreds of thousands of slaves that they can force to do labor and then make ramps to push giant blocks of stone into huge triangular formations to make chambers. No, it had to be aliens. Shut up, you big-haired Greek fuckface.
So Tom says, I'm looking forward to Max because I need to catch up on BattleBots. Carrie says, I like to do the Nat Geo nature shows and BBC Earth. David Attenborough is
I
amazing.
love David Attenborough. I have to tell you, I fall asleep to that man's voice so often. Putting on a nature show and him being the narrator is. I'm going to be sad when he doesn't put out any new ones.
So Wizard, thanks for watching. 90 Day Fiance Cinematic Universe rules. And this is so funny. Well, first off, we don't put down anybody's beliefs, if they think aliens and whatnot. But
hold on, Leo.
But yeah, hold on, wait. No.
We go from fact to belief.
Yeah, but hold on. Wait, no.
Yes.
I stand by what I just fucking said. All right? I 100% stand by what I said. If any person seriously wants to sit there and say like, oh, the pyramids in Egypt had to have been made by aliens.
No, I'm not saying
that. No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying like specifically because that is something I just absolutely said. I'm out note saying like it is preposterous to believe that people are not capable of forcing hundreds of thousands of other people to make those things when they had the plans and means to create it. It's one of those things where it's like Occam's razor, like if you, okay, like I'm from Massachusetts. Okay. I live in Massachusetts and I used to work a lot of horse shows, right? Jump shows, and on farms, plenty of horses there. Now, in the distance, if I don't see it, but I hear it, and I start hearing a lot of clap, 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 going through a field. Now, I could say to myself, you know what? You know what runs in herds like that? Zebras. Zebras run in herds like that. They have the hooves, they have the tails and the long faces, they got all those stripes. It could be a herd of zebras. But I'm in Massachusetts, so even though it's not impossible, it is highly improbable. So it makes more sense for me to say, well, where I am, when I am, it's probably horses, right? So in regards to like using that analogy to the Great Pyramids and the number of slaves that Egyptians had all throughout that entire region in North Africa, if you hear clop, 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 go right ahead and think horses, not fucking zebras.
What I was going to say is I do believe that they need to kind of revisit the timeline of everything, with the findings of Göbekli Tepe, and then there's another one. Like we're missing thousands of years of our history. So it's the one thing that's dating the pyramids right now is the first explorer to the pyramids. I forgot what.
Who knows how much stuff might have accidentally been destroyed in the process of looking for other things too. I mean,
they actually believe I can't remember the guy's name, but I believe it was he was sent from England to investigate the pyramids, and he was sent there.
He got there and he's like, "Yep, that's a giant triangle, all right."
No, like
investigation over.
He was trying to find, come back with information, and he wasn't finding anything. And supposedly he painted like a pharaoh's name in one of the walls, and he used that to actually date the pyramids. And we've been going off that date ever since. And they believe that he did that so that he could actually go back with some information because he wasn't finding anything, and they paid so much for that trip.
So he's a fraud.
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that there, I believe that's 5,000 years in Göbekli Tepe, which is not too far away from Egypt, is they've dated it back to 13,000 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's very easy for human beings to go in search of history, and in the process of finding 5 remarkable things, they don't even realize that they destroyed 50.
Yeah.
I think a prime example of that is the city of Pompeii, which of course we all know was just the population was destroyed by Mount Vesuvius, because it turns out it was a volcano and it blew, and everybody, we've all seen the people that were in Pompeii, kind of holding on to one another, or how they were lying down when everything hit. Now here's the thing, uh those people that died in Pompeii, it was not lava that killed them. It
It was
was
the heat blast.
it was the noxious gases and ash and everything. Like it just it they all suffocated to death. But you realize those bodies that you see lying out in those places that they were able to unearth, those bodies weren't there like that, right? A lot of people don't realize it.
Well, it's not their bodies that remained. It's like the imprint, like they were like vaporized with.
Yes, the lava covered them. But what happened was when they started going through Pompeii and unearthing it, they kept hitting pockets as they were unearthing and digging. And they were like, what the fuck are these pockets? Like, what is going on here? How come there's like just spaces randomly in certain areas that we're going through? And then somebody, I couldn't tell you who, was just like, hey, wait a minute. You just found one of those pockets, right? Don't do anything else. Just for funsies. Go get a bunch of concrete. Let's fill this thing up. Let it cure. And then we'll pull out what it is. Maybe we'll get an idea.
Oh yeah.
It turns out all of the pockets that they were punching through and destroying in order to get to the other things that they were trying to, unearth were people. All those things that you see where people like holding one another, or lying on their back and what have you, that's all because they realized they needed to fill those pockets when they found them with concrete. And if somebody hadn't had that idea while they were doing it, we'd have no idea what the position and what happened with people when the entire place was overcome with lava. So it's a prime example of like sometimes you have to think outside of the box when you're doing these things. But if you have tunnel vision, very easy to miss the forest for the trees.
Well, also on a similar note, like the Middle East right now, there are there's one religion there that like they're actually destroying a lot of the monuments because they want to erase that history, so it's just crazy the amount of history that's been destroyed and certain artifacts that we only have pictures of now. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. And speaking about reality shows, apparently Sylvester Stallone is starting one up called The Family Stallone.
I was gonna have you guess the name.
Jesus,
The Family
Mary
Stallone. I just can't imagine that this was his choice. He's got 3 daughters who are podcasters, and I really think they were like, "Come on, Dad, come on," because I gotta say, like, he doesn't need it, right?
Wow, those I see his 3 daughters right here, and I mean they're beautiful young women, but wow, they are definitely Sly Stallone's kids.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that's it's not a knock. They're
Oh no, no.
they're
They're
beautiful young women, but
Yeah.
like you can tell, like he's their dad. There's no denying that whatsoever. It's uncanny.
No.
Wow,
And
you can even see how they look like their uncle Frank too. Like that's crazy. Frank Stallone. We know.
yeah,
Frank
yeah,
Stallone.
no.
Okay. That's nuts, man.
Not Frank Sinatra. What?
Well, as much as Frank would have liked to be like that, Frank. I think the closest he got was "Take You Back," do 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 do, "Take You Back." Frank Stallone, for anybody who's not aware, in the movie Rocky, as he goes by like a group of guys who are around a garbage bin fire singing songs, that's Frank Stallone and a few other dudes. Like, hey, my kid brother, I gotta put him in the movie. He's a singer, so we make him sing on the corner or something. I don't know. It's like what we do in Philly. I have a short bitch. It's a short one.
Right.
A couple other trailers dropped today. The Continental trailer dropped.
The Continental.
Yeah.
Yes, John Wick.
Oh,
We've entered the Wickverse.
Oh God, I am fucking Wick. I swear we're just gonna put verse at the fucking end of everything now. Ugh.
I love it that it's a
Carrie changed the shirts.
Well, I mean that's tongue in cheek. Like that's
No, absolutely.
that's a joke. That's
Complete
funny.
satire.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, you know, like I saw somebody saying something about the Mando verse, and I was like, nope,
Oh,
we
come
are
on.
not doing that. We are.
It's Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Carrie says Brandon's blood pressure is dangerous, and shirts are shipped. LOL. So it's a period piece, which I think this would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the same thing about more John Wick movies, and I was wrong there. So you know, who's to say anything about this?
Well, I mean, we know John Wick is immortal, so he can appear
Oh my
in this.
fucking
You know?
God!
What?
Yeah. What?
No,
I said
no.
what?
We know John Wick's immortal. You know,
There can be only one.
he can just take his old makeup off.
Somehow he returned.
We know he's
Somehow John Wick returned.
That's all you have to do.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, the Continental from the world of John Wick.
I don't even.
September.
Wow,
Oh,
these
cool.
things they're just banging them out.
Yeah. The Marvels trailer dropped.
Yes.
Looks great.
I love that kid in Mon Villani playing Kamala Khan. She is just great.
Agreed.
Yeah, her enthusiasm as the character and in real life is phenomenal. She's a feisty kid, and I mean honestly, like she's adorable. She really like in this trailer particularly, just so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And exactly how she is the girl teenager version of Peter Parker.
Yep.
In all of this.
Is this an Avengers test?
Is this an Avengers test? I love when she screams when the
Flirkin.
Yeah.
Like eats the guys running at her, and oh my God! Like, I legitimately laughed a lot. I watched the trailer like 3 times.
No, this seems to have the same feelings as Miss Marvel did, so I'm right on board.
I will say, first of all, for Captain Marvel, I was not like, I found it to be a bit of mediocre, and I didn't fault Brie Larson for that. I actually feel like they probably should have had just slightly more experienced directors for it, because the 2 people that did the movie, they had only done like some smaller independent stuff before they were handed this big budget Marvel Disney movie. And I do think Brie Larson is a talented actress. I don't think that the direction she was given for that movie was great. In this though, and I hate the that misogynist is like, oh, she should have smiled more. Like, no, her character was going through some shit, so I actually get.
Yeah, it should be laughing and smiling as you're.
Yeah, I get her character kind of just being a little bit more stoic because she literally had no idea who she really was. She was like in the thick of maybe finding that out, and then a whole slew of other issues. But in this trailer, Brie Larson as a performer, she looks like she has far less of a load, a weight on her shoulders, because it's being shared with Teyonah Parris and Iman Vellani, and she looks like she's actually Carol Danvers, the character, and Brie Larson, the performer, looks like she's enjoying what that is just in that short amount of time, and I think that's important because I didn't get the sense that Captain Marvel was a very joyful, or as joyful a
No.
production as it probably should have been. And it probably wasn't helped by the fact that there were a lot of like toxic fuckheads out there.
Yeah.
But this, man, I mean, there's nothing about this trailer I saw that I did not like. And also, like, I absolutely like fell in love with Teyonah Paris as Monica Rambeau in WandaVision. I think she did a great job in that show. I think it's unfair that people as pretty as her fucking exist. The cheekbones for fucking days, and the three of them together, I honestly think that Kamala slash Iman Vellani's enthusiasm is going to be infectious
Oh yeah.
for the two of them.
You
And
can already see that they're all having fun in this. Like,
yeah, it's kind of cool too. Like there's a quick snippet, like you can see like Kamala's hair is wet. It looks like she probably took a shower because they're clearly on Carol's ship. And at different points, like you can see like what she's wearing and then what Monica's wearing. They're wearing the clothes that Carol wore from Earth in Captain Marvel. Like she
yeah.
clearly kept a bunch
Oh,
of the
nice.
clothes that she had, and she wears them when she's not all like action suited up. I believe one of them was like a Nine Inch Nails T-shirt that she had in the first movie, and you can see that Monica's wearing it. So they probably all were like, I need a shower after some particularly gross battle. And that's when we see like the three of them, and she's like, "We're a team," like,
No.
oh, it's great. When Nick shows up
Definitely not a
at her
team.
doorstep, she's like, "Did I get in?" Like, oh, kid, I want to give you a high five and a hug.
Carrie says, "Super sisterhood of the traveling pants."
Yeah, I mean, kind of. The funny thing is, I think we're actually going to get a little bit more of an explanation as to what the bangle is for Kamala, because if you look in the movie, there's another accuser, a woman, and you have to remember, Kree can be either pink slash white skinned or blue skinned. In the comic books, the white skinned were considered the lower class Kree. It was blue skinned that were the affluent, hoity toity ones, the pure Kree. And that's part of the reason why Captain Marvel was a rarity in his station, because he was a white skinned Kree as opposed to a blue skinned one. So like he worked double hard to get to where he was, and that of course is the precursor to Photon, Monica Rambeau, and Carol Danvers as Miss Marvel, eventually Captain Marvel. But Captain Marvel, the Marvel, and then his genetic offspring. I don't want to say direct son because there's like a whole bunch of fuckery with that, but his genetic son, Genis Bell, he also was given possession of the quantum or nega bands. And it seems likely that part of the reason why they're shifting their positions whenever they use their powers is because the bangle that we know of that Kamala has. If you see this woman accuser, like Ronan the Accuser from Guardians of the Galaxy, she has the matching bangle that would make that a set. And I'm guessing that the two of those together are the MCU's version of the Nega Bands. And in Peter David's Captain Marvel, especially, they really dived into the connection that Rick Jones had with Captain Marvel, especially Genis Vell. And whenever they'd bang together the Nega Bands, they would switch places. Rick would go to the microverse, or the quantum realm as we would refer to it in MCU, and then Genisvel would come forward as Captain Marvel and do his thing, and then he'd bang them together, and he'd go back, and Rick Jones would come back here to Earth. I think that's likely why we're seeing this entanglement thing work out with all three of them, because their powers are sort of tangentially connected through the different facets of the Infinity Gems themselves. Because even though the gems are separate, they do kind of share some properties, and they are connected overall. That's why it's important to have them all in one place, because you can harness the totality of what they're capable of. So I think we're going to get some deeper dives into what the quantum realm and jumping through multiversal stuff might be within this movie, because they may very well show that their abilities, the way that currently they're being displayed in the trailer, once they get a handle on it and they have a better understanding of what the negabands do, that might equip them to be able to actually jump from one universe to another without, or timelines even, without any of the shit that the Avengers utilized with Pym particles and Tony Stark's formula or Kang's technology. It's a completely like separate entity that can sort of act as a bit of a deus ex machina when push comes to shove. So, just something to chew on.
So my question is, when they bang the bands together, do they need to say Wonder Twins power activate?
I knew it was
Shazam!
coming.
Hell yeah!
Hey Steve, how's it going?
Howdy.
We were just talking about the Marvels trailer. Did you did you see it?
I saw that, and it was I'm gonna tell you, I've been burnt out on Marvel stuff, and this may have reversed my burnout.
Yeah,
like
I get that.
It looked super fun, and even though like I know what's her name, Brie Larson, right? Yeah, Brie Larson. Brie Larson, she's been almost as problematic, it looks like, as she was for the Avengers.
I don't know anything about that.
I read a couple articles where she was kind of upset that it was called The Marvels instead of Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah, I read that too, and that was all speculation.
Oh, I didn't read further into that, but either way,
yeah, it was. You know what it was? The same people saying that, like, no lie, were the same people who, for every single year that Disney has been making Star Wars property stuff, has been saying that Kathleen Kennedy is going to get fired next month.
Okay, I'll take that. I honestly
that
didn't
ain't
look
happening.
any further into it.
She just dropped a bunch of new stuff over.
But
they're going to fire her this month. Oh yeah. Watch, there's going to be a big announcement. Then there was a big announcement. They extended the contract for 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say that, like, this trailer definitely renewed my faith a little bit. They're getting back into the like seriousness yet comedy aspect.
Well, yeah, I mean, it certainly leans towards humor, but sort of what I was saying, like, it's joyful, and that is
for sure.
That is wholly due to the inclusion of Kamala Khan's character played by Iman Vellani.
She's so fun.
Yeah, she as a performer is clearly over the moon to be involved with the MCU.
Honestly, when it comes to like having somebody like, all right, we've seen a lot of people in the MCU be involved in it, but Kamala Khan is literally the embodiment of what's her name?
Iman Vellani.
Iman Vellani is literally the embodiment of what Kamala Khan is. She is what Kamala Khan is.
Yeah, it's just like Tom Holland as Peter Parker. I mean, they are two sides of the same exact coin.
Yeah,
and I'm all for it. It's
refreshing.
It is, and I think I was saying this right before you came on that, you know, I have no problem with Brie Larson as a performer, anything like that. I really don't. I think she was given a raw deal on Captain Marvel. It should have, like, for example, I walked out of the movie theater after Captain Marvel, and I was like, it was okay. It was all right. That was me. That was my reaction. My wife, as we walked out of the theater, who was usually pretty much like, yeah, okay, that was fun. I'm glad we went to go. She straight up was like, fuck that movie right up its ass. And I was like, what? Don't sugarcoat it. Tell me how you really feel. Yeah, my wife felt pandered to.
Well, I was going to say that is like they kind of took the original Captain Marvel and kind of made it like, and I use this word loosely, but made it like a woke movie for women empowerment. And like, women empowerment should be in the forefront no matter what. You shouldn't just pander to. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't think that the problem was that it was quote woke. I mean,
I may be using the wrong terminology.
Woke is just another way of saying enlightened. So like,
okay,
it's not really a term I throw around, willy-nilly.
I use that word because I can't think of a better word to use.
Enlightened is a good word to use, but inclusive is also a good one.
I totally get it.
But the thing is, like, well, especially because some people try to sling it around, like, not you, but other people try to sling it around like an insult or anything. And it's like, it's far from it. If somebody was like, "Oh, you're so woke," I'm like, I mean, yeah. What, you want me to argue with you? No, not you.
No. I totally agree. Like, the people that got butthurt about the whole women scene in Avengers Endgame, like, they're the same people that got pissed off that this movie was.
I will say, I actually did not like that scene, but not because it involved women. It just felt inorganic. That was my thing. And also, I just generally had a hard time understanding why the woman who just flew in from space and is going fucking, mano a mano with Thanos needed all of these folks behind her to back her up. Like, we got your back. It's like, yeah, or she could just continue holding the thing and fly and not get hurt because she's invulnerable and just fucking murk anybody because she's super strong. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's really important that the Wasp was right there with her. I don't know. But that scene, I wasn't upset about it. It was more just of a head scratcher. Like, all right, I get why you put it in there, but I don't think you should have put it in just to put it in. Once again, my wife did not like that scene. She was like, well, I feel as though they were pandered to. But walking out of Captain Marvel, Dara was like, the final straw for her in the theater when we saw Captain Marvel. It didn't bother me. I was not bothered by anything. My viewpoint is always story and characterization. Make everything make sense, and I'm never gonna have a problem, honestly. But she starts fighting a bunch of people, and I think it must be in the last like half hour of the movie, and it gets to be kind of like, oh, there's gonna be a bit of a throwdown, and you start hearing bam, 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 and they start playing "Just a Girl" by No Doubt, and I'm fairly certain I heard my wife's eyes roll. Like,
I get it.
She was so mad when we left. She was like, I have never been so insulted by a movie in my life.
I guess it begs me to ask the question, shit. Like, do you think and again, I use this term loosely, do you think the pandering to the woman audience is a bad thing?
Well, here's the thing.
Or maybe too blatant?
Well, no, what it is, it's a lack of subtlety.
Okay, that's exactly the best way to say it.
Pandering it's a very strong word, and
that's why I said that I can't think of a better way to say it.
I think that they were striving for inclusion, and they really wanted to drive home like, hey, this is a heavy hitter, this is a major player, and they are important, overall, not just for the next little bit that's going to come up, but we're going to expound what this story is, what this character means down the road. And that's fine. But when you predicate the movie's success as a prologue and state, oh, this is for all the girls out there and for all the women out there who don't have their hero, their character, you don't need to say that. Make the story. Worry about how well you're executing the character development and the story beats within it, and everything else falls in line. A good example of that is the movie Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman did not play up like, oh, we got a female a woman superhero here, and she's badass, take no prisoners type. No, they focused on making a good Wonder Woman movie, and they hit it 8 to 9/10 of the way.
So
The one misstep in that movie was the CGI throwdown between her and Ares at the very end.
So my counterpoint to that is like they took 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of the first Wonder Woman to establish that Themyscira is this like incredible island full of extremely like powerful women. They didn't do that with Captain Marvel. They just kind of like, she didn't know who she was. She just lived her life and then all of a sudden had powers. But at the same time, at the very end of the movie, they showed you how powerful she was. And since she's been in the movie, they have not shown that same power. They showed that she could go supernova and then haven't done it.
Well, I mean, in fairness to the character and her power set, she hasn't been terribly involved in very many things outside of like Endgame and what have you.
Yeah,
So
all her stuff was off screen because she said that there's many other worlds that were just having just as many problems, and I've been fixing those.
Yeah, so this is really
I agree.
the first full adventure we've seen of hers since Captain Marvel's movie. I just think the story could have been tightened up a bit, and if they had somebody a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more used to the circus that a tentpole movie like that can be, they would have been able to juggle all those different elements a little bit more deftly. I feel as though the independent filmmakers they had come in were probably just a little over their heads. And it happens. And you know what? Honestly, like, good for Disney and Marvel for seeing a couple of auteurs and trying to give them a shot. But I do think that there was a little bit of the Marvel movie by committee coming at that one, and there were certain things that were mandated that needed to be in there. And to my wife's point, when we walked out, why she was like, why did they play Just a Girl by No Doubt? Like, that is an anthem that Gwen Stefani wrote, especially for the 90s, where, look, you keep telling me I'm just a girl and I can't just be a person. You're not letting me actually be a human being trying to live their lives. It's all, oh, I can't do this because. I can't do this because. Oh, I have to do this because. No one was saying that to the character of Captain Marvel, and the subtext of that song literally had nothing to do with when it showed up in the movie. And she said, like, it was just, Dara said, like, it's a fun song. There's very few people that grew up in the 90s that can't say, like, oh, that song definitely slapped when we all first heard it. Not a problem. But it has a deeper meaning, and by applying it to that situation where it had nothing to do with what was occurring, it's just a needle drop to try to evoke a certain type of feeling that really is not predicated upon the character's journey at that moment in time.
I think I see people as like anybody other than, women see that song as typically like empowering women. Whereas, as you said, like it's not necessarily, it's completely the opposite. It's like you're trying to push it upon me.
No, it is empowering to women because it's a woman calling out all the bullshit that's being thrust
maybe
upon
I read into
them.
that. Maybe I read into what you just said.
Yeah,
no,
the whole song is looking into that face of quote unquote authority and saying, like, this is all you'll let me be.
Okay, I get it now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not having it. Like,
I've
had it up to here. And the thing is, like, there's any number of songs that you could have picked that by a woman rocker, even, you know what I mean? That would have been great, but they really wanted to, like, have it be poppy, peppy, upbeat, safe rock, and drive home the narrative that they had been pushing outside of the story in and of itself. And that sucks because I don't think they let anything organically happen with the production of that story, the execution of that movie.
Yeah.
If they had let people be a little bit more creative and feel as if they weren't boxed into certain things, and that, I mean, boxing Brie Larson in, boxing the two directors in, boxing Jude Law, Samuel Jackson, Annette Bening. If they had been able to just feel a little freer and not have this seemingly undue pressure put upon them, because like it should have just been, oh, here's another, for lack of a better term, here's another Marvel superhero movie. They needed to make a big deal out of it being a superhero that was a woman. You know what? Let Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, speak for herself. People will respond. Believe me.
I will say, fuck yes. Like that is 100% what they should have done, and they kind of failed.
Yeah, and that's why I cite Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman was made, it was advertised, it was put out, and people responded in kind.
I'm gonna say, based off this trailer, obviously trailers can lead you the total wrong way, but based off this trailer, it seems they could be course correcting.
I mean, I don't even know that it's course correcting. When
know what I mean by course correcting, just like writing what they kind of failed at doing the first time.
Well, I think it helps too that when we last truly saw Carol as a developing character, not just a Deus ex machina, a god of the machine here to help, just take Thanos down and what have you, but an actual character. We left her in 1996 or something like that. She was gone for 25 years, and now she in that time she knows who she actually is. She's helped protect Earth. She not just who she is, but where she's from, how she got to be the way she is. She knows that she has connections back in the place that she originated from, and then felt a responsibility to go out and try to fix the problem that was caused by Thanos. And I think what we're going to see in this movie coming out is her realizing, like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should also spend some time closer to this place because they clearly need the help too. It's not just, her line was like, what happened here happened to hundreds of other planets all across the universe. They're going to need help too. But now, okay, you know what? You guys clearly need my help. I should stick around. And I think that's going to be part of the character as she develops in this movie alongside Monica and Kamala, because she's going to form connections that she was not able to do in the first movie, because that was all based upon who am I? Why can I do this? What do I do with it? Now she knows who she is, and she knows what she can do, and it's after all this time going to probably come into sharp focus. Oh, this is actually what I'm supposed to do with it.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Same subject, different topic. Did it irk you at least a little?
Hold on, how'd you do that?
Did it irk you at least a little bit that they kind of like retconned that whole situation on the ship at when they were fighting? Who were they fighting? At the end of no. They showed Kamala Khan where the cat. What's the cat's name? Fuck.
The
Flurkin.
The Flurkin.
Yeah, where Flurkin eats the. It wasn't
the Kree.
Was it? Yeah, it was Kree. That's. I was trying to think if it was Kree, but it was Kree. Like they show the Flurkin eating the Kree. It kind of retcons what happens from the original movie, because we see that happen.
Well, how does it retcon it though? I don't understand.
Like she didn't react the same way in the original movie that she did in the trailer.
Who?
Well, it shows Kamala Khan reacting to Flurkin eating the Kree, but if I remember correctly, we saw Flurkin eat the Kree in Captain Marvel, and she was just like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, but Kamala was not in Captain Marvel, so you're talking about two completely different characters, different reactions.
I guess maybe I misunderstood the trailer, but it seemed like they showed
you're
it.
Thinking when they switch places, they also switch personalities, or something.
No. They're just switching places.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're the same person.
That's Kamala.
Yeah.
And that's why she's like, "Oh my god!" Because
it's a kitty.
Think about this, right? If you watch the very beginning of the trailer and you see Monica Rambeau, who is a trained and capable agent of SWORD coming from the Saber facility, and she's approaching whatever that weird barrier is, and just as she's about to touch it, which, by the way, Monica, stop touching weird energy shit. That's how your shit got fucked up. Just saying.
Stop trying to go to a fucking barrier that's 3 times.
But yeah, she goes to touch it, and then all of a sudden you hear, ah! And she flips around, and it's Kamala, and she's like, "Oh my god, you're Nick Fury! Is this an Avengers test?" Why would Monica say that?
Yeah, they kind of didn't allude to it.
Actually,
being...
they did. They did.
Well, no, like they show us it, but like we don't know how Nick Fury saw it. I guess
What do you mean? He can see that it's a girl that's not Monica in that suit.
Okay.
And he can hear her because Monica was talking with Nick Fury on the headset she was wearing inside of her suit. So that's why when Kamala's like, "Nick Fury, is this an Avengers thing?" Like he can hear her.
Maybe it's a quantum leap thing. Maybe it's like we can see it's Kamala Khan, but actually Nick Fury's seeing it's
Sam.
Monica. Yeah, it's Sam.
God damn it! We're gonna talk about Quantum Leap right now.
I'll talk about Quantum Leap a fucking day, kid.
I will do it. Oh my god!
So who's Ziggy?
Vision.
Vision's.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to get us off the topic of Marvels.
Yeah.
We have another new trailer. Mayhem.
I haven't seen it
Muppets
yet.
Mayhem.
Oh
I've been enjoying these new.
Did they
Muppets
seriously
movies.
misspell Weird Al Yankovic's name wrong? Like,
No, they didn't. Man. Did they?
They really did. Fucking Weird Al Yankovic, right there. Weird Al Yankovic, Kevin Smith. Yeah, they put an H at the end of his fucking name.
Well, that's
Fuck
IGN. IGN for you, yeah.
Go fucking suck a bag of dicks.
Steve Aoki and fucking. Oh my god.
Oh, Danny.
Oh, Danny Trejo, Steve Aoki. I just saw King Big Dick. What's his name?
King Big Dick.
King Dick.
Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee.
Oh, Tommy. It's like what?
I don't know why.
I just figured me and the band would get back together, and it's gonna be a good time. What do you think, Janice? It's like totally fun, you know.
Hey man.
Borrow.
Looks like they're gonna drop all the episodes at once.
Is it a? Oh, it's a show.
Series?
A show, yeah.
I thought it was a movie.
Oh, fuck.
It's time to play the music.
It's time to start the show.
Is that Taj Mowry?
What? Oh my god, Animal with a fucking soundboard.
Yeah, but he just hits one button, and they're like,
Ah!
Oh, it's the Minot guy.
Oh, Dead Mouse is in there? All right. We're going to end up talking about this on our show, but I mean, I've never been a huge fan of the Muppets.
What?
Let me rephrase. Like, I don't know what it was. Like, I was a huge fan of like the Muppet Babies, but like I was always afraid of the marionette type thing. It was like a fear of mine.
I literally have a Kermit the Frog puppet. And when I say puppet, I mean like full, had it made for me. I have the hooks to move the hands.
Oh my god, the fact that fucking that he's in this show, I'm already in. Anders.
Yeah, I'm not a workaholics guy. I've always been confused by the idea of workaholics. I've yet to find a single bottle of workahol anywhere.
Touche.
These people can't stop working. Also, they have no idea how words are used properly.
You know what? Now that I think of it, I do remember them talking about. Kristen Schaal. All right, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in.
She's a walking Muppet anyway.
Here's Weird Al Yankovic.
Yankovic.
Real quick, Tom said he loved the Beastie Boys Intergalactic song being used in the Marvels trailer.
I
agree.
I agree.
That was a good needle drop. It really was. I concur. Oh, Kevin Smith in a purple jacket.
Yeah.
Color me surprised.
Yes, indeed.
You know, speaking of Kevin Smith in a purple jacket, we just had a guy that was in Reboot on our show.
Oh yeah, who's that?
Keith Coogan.
Oh no shit.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's fun guy. I have a video.
Uncle Fester's grandson.
Yep, I have a video. So the three of us were supposed to show up to his event, and it was only me. And I have a video of him being like, "Come on, guys, me and him are hanging out. Where the fuck are you?"
I would have loved to have been there, man. Oh,
you should have come with me. Actually, are you busy? Totally off topic. You busy this Saturday?
I am.
Cancel all your plans.
I can't. I am going to a film festival.
Actually, we're live right now. We have people listening. I'm giving away tickets. If you guys want to go see Agent Steve Gomez from Breaking Bad, he's doing a comedy set in Agawam. I'm giving away tickets. Message Nerds of Unusual Origin. I'll set you up.
Hey, all right, yeah. Fucking do that, people. Message Nerds of Unusual Origin to get some tickets to go see Agent Steve from Breaking Bad's comedy set.
Where's that happening?
Agawam Cinemas.
Oh.
It's like 5 minutes from Six Flags.
Yeah. No. You do know that when I say like Uncle Fester's grandson, like I'm being
no, legitimate. I know Jackie Coogan.
Okay. Yeah. His grandfather was the reason why there are laws to protect the fees that children are paid.
If you watch our episode at the very end of it, we talked about like something very specific, and Keith was like, "Yeah, but if you have this, but you'll have this, but and this and this." No, he can work for 12 hours. It's like, okay.
It's fucking nuts. Yeah, Coogan's Law, dude. It's so fucked up.
He's very knowledgeable in the whole law. He like such a nice guy.
Oh yeah, he really is. Like, I actually bumped into him a couple of times at Rhode Island a couple of years ago, and the room that he was in, it was jam packed the year he was there. So I did not have the opportunity to get in there and see like anybody that I wanted to, because the lines were insanely long, and my wife and I had like pro photo ops already scheduled. So it was like, we can get in line, but we might not be able to make it to this person because we'll have to leave to get in another line that we already paid to get a photo or whatever.
I will say he's super humble for the career he's had, and that's amazing.
Yeah, he's a great dude. He really is.
He really is.
Yeah, and
Animal's #1. That's right, Tom.
I've always been a little partial to Kermit.
Yeah, Kermit the Frog. My wife says I did a horrible Kermit, so I'm not even going to.
Hi there, Kermit the Frog reporting for Sesame Street News.
My wife fought me on that Kermit was on Sesame Street. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
That's literally where
I know.
Yeah.
Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. I was like,
"Hi
you
ho,
don't
Kermit
know
the
that?
Frog here."
Which was always tricky. They always made sure to space out Bert and Ernie far from when Kermit was going to show up.
Yeah. Hey, Bert, why you get so mad, Bert? Because you keep eating cookies in bed!
Hi ho.
Hi ho. Hiya!
Oh, we're on to toys. The new Todd McFarlane Batman.
Oh, shit.
Wow, it looks an awful lot like the old Batman.
Yes.
Is that supposed to be the updated
Wing?
Batwing, yeah.
I lost it last week. I was trying to call it the Bat Plane. I'm like, that's not right. What the hell is that?
I knew, honestly, I was going to say Bat Plane, but then I was
you
like,
could have said Bat
right
Plane. I think that's acceptable, honestly, because I mean, you're not wrong. It's a plane shaped like a fucking bat.
I heard them talking about that it was going to be an updated Batwing. That is completely different than what they had in Batman Returns.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh no, Batman.
Yeah, because they do the clever little, oh, look at it, it's in front of the moon. It looks like the Batman symbol.
Well, they're probably going to do something similar because he's showing it. There's a base, but you can mount the base on the wall. Let me see if he shows it.
It's all about that base. No trouble.
Yeah,
No trouble.
so that you can mount it like that.
And then it falls and.
Yeah.
The fact
Did
that
he
you said that, and I
Legos.
almost went off on a tangent.
Did he update the nipple mobile at all?
He did, and I pre-ordered it.
Of course you did.
You pre-ordered the nipple mobile. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know I'm not the only kid who was 7 years old or thereabouts in 1989 that saw that movie and was like, why is there a nipple on the Batmobile? You know, I don't mean like a person's nipple. Like I, as a kid, was like, it looks like a baby bottle nipple. I don't get it. And then later on, people were like, oh, it's a turbine. I'm like, in the middle of the front of the car? That makes even less sense than it being a fucking nipple.
It does. It does look like you could suckle on it.
Yeah. Or come to my bat teat, villains.
So
I will vanquish you.
the Batwing is friggin' enormous. Rich just said it's huge.
You're a superstitious and lactose intolerant lot.
Oh, it's a HasLab thing, or is it just?
No. I have HasLab.
$249.
Honestly, that's not a bad price. What is that? It's
Actually,
like 24 inches.
That's actually shocking. Actually, I think it's like 30.
36.
Shocking is
I
a
just
word
saw-
I'd use too.
Yeah.
So compared to the price of the new Batmobile, let me see if I can.
What was the new Batmobile started at?
Oh,
$60.
Yes, yeah, $60.
Honestly,
See?
like, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say this is huge as well. Let's see.
Where's the
Next
nipple?
release is going to be big
There
enough
it
to
is.
stick small children in. I agree, Carrie.
We're gonna send them to school in those.
Now big enough to fit a small orphaned trapeze artist.
Oh
all-
shit! It's huge.
Yeah.
These are all 1/6, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
And
what is next? Like freaking a quarter size.
Play Batcave.
half the size for kids.
Is
It's
it
for kids.
1/6 or is it 1/12?
I thought they were 1/6.
That
Maybe
was
I'm off
1/6.
on that.
Well, I don't know if I think Hot Toys does a 1/6 also. Like they have the ones.
I know they do
Or is it
the
quarter?
figures at 1/6.
My problem is like, all right, yeah, it's cool that it's huge, but like, I don't have that kind of room.
Yeah, I need to figure out where I'm going to put mine.
Like, but you said it's not HasLab, right?
No, nope.
No,
Okay.
no, it's
No,
Fun toys.
No, so HasLab. So the
1/7.
The only reason I
Ratio-
asked
the
is 'cause I see
ratio's
the Pulse
1/7.
thing.
Yeah, I brought this up to show the Star Wars toys from Celebration.
You know, I haven't bought a new Star Wars toy in forever.
Yeah.
Like,
Apparently, this new Star Wars, the new Mandalorian episode is fire.
it is.
Okay.
It was fire.
So
I hated the last one, and not
Really?
because Brandon, it felt like it was a filler issue that I really didn't need last week.
I will say that I felt like this entire season.
I
has
know
been
they're
filler.
going to probably use little tidbits from the episode, and I appreciate it for what it was. I like Lizzo. I think she's a great actress. Jack Black, no problem there. No problem with any of the other stuff. I just felt like I was watching another show for like a half hour, and then we got to the
Well,
part where
I mean, I can understand that, but I do think that's part of what they've been doing with The Mandalorian, since season 1.
I'm not saying that they changed anything up. I'm just saying that one episode wasn't for me.
I enjoyed it just because
I feel like the season's a lot slower.
it spoke to the larger goings on with the New Republic's that sort of
Reintegration process.
underbelly that we're
Oh,
seeing, like they're all so officious and bogged down by their procedures that they are basically just a reskinned empire. But instead of going in and murking an entire population, they're just like, "Do you want to join us? No, all right, well, nuts to you then." And that's that. Like, instead of destroying a population, they're just like, "Oh well, you can probably just go destroy yourself then. That's not our problem."
Did they join the Empire? Did they join the Republic? No. All right, well, fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
that is true. I do. But
yeah,
it just wasn't the.
I think that it was
that Tim
important,
Meadows, right?
Yeah, it was Tim Meadows. It was important specifically because, and I know, I had a conversation the other night with Leo and Justin. I understand why it would feel like at the end of the episode last week, like, oh, that seems so rushed. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. But at the same time, like, I don't know how long you think a fight scene between like two people should take. Like, and I'm not talking about you specifically, Jeremy. I just mean like generally.
No, I totally understand. The fight seems
like, oh, it's so quick. It's so quick. I'm like, if you've ever fought anybody in real life, I'm going to tell you right now, it's over in about 48 seconds. Like, it does not last.
You get to 5 minutes in a fight, both people are freaking throwing whiffs.
Fucking just covered in sweat. Yeah. And just, breathing heavy.
By the way, Brandon.
What's that?
By the way, Brandon, I'm coming a little closer to your line of thought about the what the fuck was that, Dr. Pershing?
Dr. Pershing?
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah,
they definitely erased his fucking memory in order to protect the secret of what they're doing for Palpatine's clone. Which it's all lining up. Like we're gonna find out. Okay, that's how Snoke develops.
Did you see the stuff in the background?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I did.
All right, clue me in because I'm fucking clueless right now.
So Dr. Pershing, you saw the episode at the end where they stick him in the, they basically just renamed the Mind Flayer, and we saw that Elia cranked it up to 11, and then scrambled his brains like fucking Sunday's breakfast.
Yeah,
and certain people
I thought he died, but I don't.
Certain people in this podcast, not Jeremy, you or me, were.
I have reason to think so I honestly I thought that she didn't wipe his brain, that just like she was trying to hurt him so that he would come back to the Empire more quickly. But in watching this week's episode, it now seems more evident that they want to like get rid of him off the table to protect the secret of what they were doing for Snoke.
The fun thing about having ADHD is noticing patterns, and I do that with stories.
Well, so I thought that he could have taken more because of that one episode in Andor where Andor's girlfriend was being punished by the Mind Flayer for like weeks on end, and she was still fairly intelligent after that. She was totally like shell shocked, but she was still
but I mean, did they crank it all the way up and just straight up leave her there?
Because... that's what they seemed to do. It was like just because they went into the room, she was all alone and she was like huddled in the corner, and
but like when she was all huddled in the corner, like what was the end result of that going past it? Like did she come back from that?
They turned it off, asked her questions. They didn't answer. They turned it on and left again.
So even in the example you just provided, you're proving that my initial assumption was correct, because she was absolutely useless once they did that to her in Andor.
No, she eventually gave up Andor, but she was like, she didn't want to give up her boyfriend.
Okay, so they were using it as a means of extracting information.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. That was not the case with Elliot.
This was just, I'm done.
Like, oh no, I'm tying up loose ends here. Like, I'm not gonna kill him, but I'm gonna also make sure that he's gonna be a fucking zucchini for the rest of his life.
Have they shown Pershing since that episode?
No.
Because I was under the impression that he died, but maybe I missed it.
Died or not, I think he might as well be. I don't think they rendered him useless.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I really couldn't tell if he was really established, like he was actually trying to do good, or
I think he was.
Here's the thing. It was his own
He had a
hubris.
passion.
It was his hubris, his pride. I mean, his passion for sure, but it was his own pride in what he knew what he was capable of. And he felt like he was more useful in continuing the research, which he knew he was not supposed to. He agreed he wouldn't continue.
Okay.
So it really was the case of a bit of pride going before the fall. He was manipulated into that position by Ilya. And to me, that manipulation to get him to that point where she was then left with him and cranked that up, that to me all spoke to, oh, this was part of a larger plan to get him to that point so they could tie up loose ends. Because the way I was thinking is, and I think a lot of us, especially at that junction, was, okay, this is the research that is ultimately going to be responsible for the creation of Supreme Leader Snoke. And the First Order is still something that is not even in nascent stages. It's not even in infancy. They haven't come close to forming it. They just have like a shadow council, and that's it. And for me seeing it, I was like, all right, they have the research that he did, and they can probably find plenty of other, well, at least a few other scientists that could expand on that and play around with it and figure something out. They don't necessarily need him at that point. So, it's, hey, Justin.
I just kind of wandered in. Like, is this a live show, fellas?
No.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there.
I like your shirt.
Oh, thanks.
Cool.
I like Brandon's shirt.
Thank you. I got the
I like Leo's
one to go with it.
God damn it.
Leo's got that plunging neckline going on.
But
Yeah.
in regards to like the overall stuff, like this episode, the episode last week was sort of coming from what we had seen with the whole New Republic and how they're trying to rehabilitate and reincorporate all these people who had sided with the Empire. I can completely understand why it seemed imbalanced, but there was a lot of heavy lifting being done because they are trying to show how the galaxy is operating and what Mando and the Covert and Bo-Katan need to do within those constraints. And the unfortunate side of it is it seems like a very straight line. Like Bo-Katan just needs to go to fucking see these clowns outside of the city, but it's a matter of diplomatic respect that they have to go to the leaders of this planet that they're allowing the Mandalorians to be on, due solely to the fact that the New Republic, as opposed to the Empire, respects their rights to freedom of religion. And for the Mandalorians, weaponry is part of their religion, which is a loophole for the planet they went to, because much like when Japan surrendered at the end of World War II, the terms of their acceptance by the New Republic is, yeah, we're gonna kind of stay separatist a bit, but we understand we had sided with the Empire initially, where we bear ill will, where it's all good. And the New Republic's like, great, but guess what? No military, no weapons for your peacekeeping forces. That's just the way it has to be. And much like Japan, they're able to take the budget within their government that would have been dedicated to developing military and military technologies and funnel it back into society and personal technology. That's why everybody is reliant upon these repurposed battle droids and what have you. And then it also goes to show, because of Christopher Lloyd's involvement, his character, that it's not all hunky dory in every place that the New Republic has said, like, okay, if you don't want to join us, fine, whatever, we'll leave you alone. No worries. You guys do your thing. Good luck. But there are people who are actively trying to figure out how to take out these areas that think that the New Republic is at least okay. Because the thing is, like, this guy isn't even like full blown Empire. His whole ideology is based on the separatist movement that Count Dooku was behind.
Yeah, he's not Empire or Rebels.
Yeah, he wanted nothing to do with either side, and he feels, that autonomy is the way to order.
And he invested heavily in Dip, correct? And has an axe to grind against the Valiant family.
Yeah, and just super obsessed with doing away with any sort of public transportation. Those tubes really drove him up oh man. Just be freeways as far as the eye can see.
And out back he has a land speeder that goes to 88 that he can just
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when it hits 88,
didn't need roads.
You see some serious shit.
Yeah.
Do they go by miles per hour?
But
it was too far away.
While we're still talking,
it was very important. It was very important to see how they had to go through proper channels to just reach the objective, which is what we saw at the end. And like I said, I understand why it seems like it was done quick, fast, and in a hurry at the end there. But once again, like, just speaking a bit to like real world, like real fights between like two people, they do not last longer than a minute. And I also would like to say, like, I'm pretty sure that Bo-Katan is much more badass than that dude who she fucking
absolutely
beat the shit out of. And
100%.
I actually think it was great to see Din Djarin think about the situation and use logic to find a loophole in order to prevent any more infighting between them, instead of just, pulling out his blaster and throwing on his jetpack and fighting like we've seen him do the vast majority of the time in the series. That was a turning point for both he and Bo-Katan. Because I think it's very important for us to recognize that Bo-Katan doesn't really want the responsibility of leading Mandalore anymore. It's not something that she has in her crosshairs. She's now at a point where she feels compelled to do it based on her experiences with Din Djarin's covert and the armorer. And she finds herself in a somewhat unenviable position of trying to get both sides to find common ground, seeing like, hey, we're the same. The differences are nowhere near the amount of similarities. So let's focus on that and just, work towards our common goal of taking back our homeland and being one people. Like, that's hard. That's tough. And I think after everything she's been through, it's not something that she wants to be the leader of, but she finds herself there, and God damn it, if she has to, she'll do it. But we saw far more compassion for her, especially towards a member of the covert, than we have at any other point in this series at all. And I mean, there's a lot of character development in those small scenes. And I found myself far more interested in the political goings on of this universe as the New Republic was set up after the fall of the Empire, the seeds of the First Order being planted, than I ever had been during the prequel trilogy with The Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones. It doesn't feel bogged down by it. It feels very much a part of the story that they're telling because it's done subtly. And that is, of course, a credit to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Yes.
What were you going to say there, Steve?
I don't even. Oh, I did. I need some clarification because it's something that's bothered me, and I'm not into like the Clone Wars and everything, because maybe it could have been explained there. They now know that Mandalore isn't uninhabitable. Why aren't they going back?
They are.
They are.
Oh,
yeah, they are.
I haven't seen the last 2 episodes, so.
Oh, well.
Oh.
Fuck.
All right, so now
Yeah.
now I know.
Yeah, well,
My bad.
yeah, they're trying. Well, we've known
I
that.
don't give a shit. Ruin it for me.
Okay.
Okay,
no,
good. Well,
Yeah,
I think you just did.
because I kind of did. Like,
So yeah, they are trying to go back. Mandalore was destroyed during a Night of 1,000 Tears, which was shown in Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. Yeah.
oh, Steve. By the way, I also have not watched like the Clone Wars or Rebels or anything like
Bad
that.
Batch.
So
I know the lore
Bad
to
Batch,
an
yeah.
extent, and then I know fuck all afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
look, I'm a clone of Boba Fett because I have a New Zealand accent.
See, Leo was asking if we thought what's her name was a clone. I'm like, hold on, she doesn't have a New Zealand accent. Can't be a clone.
No New Zealand accent, not a clone.
I was like, nope.
she could be faking it. So talking about Ellie.
I'm totally American, man. Pass me a
Jermaine-
Budweiser and the
Jermaine
ketchup. I have to
Clement.
go get a hot dog at NASCAR.
Steve, there's a theory going around that Ellie is Omega.
Okay.
Did you watch Bad Batch?
I watched the 4 episodes of the first season.
Genetically
Okay.
engineered female clone of Jango Fett.
So,
No,
so
I know who she is. I haven't watched anything
A
since.
real Django Unchained.
so the yeah, she's
Jesus.
very similar to Boba Fett. She's essentially Boba Fett's sister. She's a unaltered clone so that she can age normally. And in the second season, the Empire destroys Camino. And as we know from the first episode, she was very close to one of the Camoans or Caminoans. Yeah.
Caminis?
So yeah, let's just say they do some very bad things, and she's kind of like
Oh,
forced.
so Bad Batch isn't just a clever name.
Correct.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like also starring Jon Favreau.
Okay. I honestly I got into the Bad Batch, but I've said it 100 times on the episode. I just can't get into the animation.
Yeah, I get it, man. I'm right there with you, Steve. Honestly,
There's only so much TV I can watch, anyways.
Yeah.
But
No.
it's kind of bad because Rebels, the animation is kind of it's older, so it's definitely worse. But I've been trying to watch Rebels because they're tying in a lot from Rebels into this season of
Yeah, they are.
Mandalorian.
Like Zeb.
Yeah.
Zeb shows
I-
up.
Zeb, the space whales, Thrawn.
yeah. Honestly, I'm getting really fucking tired of that because legitimately, I've never gravitated towards the animation and whatnot. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I personally have not gravitated towards it.
I don't
And
like
there's
that
stuff keeps coming up, and I'm like,
animation.
I
Yeah.
feel like they are winking at me right now, and I have no idea why.
They're winking with the brown eye.
hey, look at this character. Wink. Why are you doing that? Oh, no reason. Wink.
Wink.
But
So
you keep saying wink. Do I? Wink. Okay.
So without spoiling anything, end of Bad Batch, essentially, Omega has some bad feelings towards the cloners.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. So the Empire is starting its cloning, the whole cloning project that we see in Mandalorian, and then that brings back Palpatine.
Somehow,
So that
Palpatine returned.
so that secret project starts in Bad Batch season 2.
Ray Skywalker.
fuck.
Oh wait.
God
No.
damn it! Now I have to watch this shit.
What's your name? Ray. Ray what? Ray.
Peter
Star
Griffin.
Wars. Ray
Right,
Star Wars.
Wars.
Ray
but-
Egon. Oh.
Now, aside from you,
That's just
Steve,
for Steve.
have we all seen this week's episode of The Mandalore?
Yes.
Justin?
Oh no, I should probably bounce out then. I just wanted to
Oh.
come in and say hi.
Well,
When you were-
Tip.
I don't know if you
Tell
saw,
them
but when you were talking about it, I just started pulling my headphones away, so
Oh,
I didn't
my bad.
ruin it.
No, this isn't a spoiler.
No,
or
no.
anything
Okay.
like that.
honestly,
it's not a
like,
spoiler.
If anything, you know the ADHD thing where I
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
look it up anyways.
I get it. I totally do. But this isn't a spoiler. It's just something I noticed. Like, I happen to know who the actor is right away. And I actually went over to Dara to say something because I watched The Mandalorian during the day on my tablet while I'm working. So that way it kind of cuts down what the time that Dara and I have to like watch some stuff before the show. Like, I can watch The Mandalorian before, that way I can talk about it. And while I'm doing the show, she'll watch it. But otherwise, we want to watch like Schmigadoon, which season 2 started last week.
Schmicago.
Schmicago, and we also watched Ted Lasso. So I really want to watch those with Dara and Mandalorian. We can kind of separate it out a bit. In this week's episode, they show some remnants of leadership that were in the Empire. No one big, that you would know from any other story. At least me, anyway. Me, anyway.
Okay.
But there is one character, and
He was
his
like,
name.
wait a second.
You got to remember, this takes place 9 BBY or something like that, or 9 ABY.
After the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah, it's like 9 ABY.
Yeah, I think so.
Or 10 at this point, maybe 10 or 11 ABY.
Yeah, I think it's like 10 or 11.
But the thing, it's 11. You're right, Leo. It's 11 ABY. And after the Battle of Yavin, for anybody that doesn't know what that means, it's after the fucking fight on the Death Star in Star Wars: A New Hope. That's the Battle of Yavin. That's the nerdiest I get when it comes to Star Wars, I promise. But the thing is, they're talking in this one character. They refer to him. His name is Commandant Hux, and I was like,
Cliff
"Oh
Huxtable.
fuck!" I was like, "Fuck you guys, for real?" Because I took one look. Now Hux is the name of the fucking redheaded or the twerp from the sequel trilogy that was played by Domhnall
Is that
Gleeson.
a word?
Yeah, well, I rectified. The sequel trilogy, played by Domhnall Gleeson, and in this episode, I saw his face, and they said Commandant Hux. I was like, oh, all right, points for being clever. The character is played by Brian Gleeson, Domhnall Gleeson's brother.
No shit.
So they kept a familial connection between the two characters who have a familial connection.
Is that Frank from Ireland?
Yes.
Son of a biscuit.
Yeah, their dad, Brendan Gleeson. They played the Cain and Abel characters in the movie Mother by Darren Aronofsky. If you look at Brian Gleeson, he is clearly Brendan Gleeson's son. There is no doubting that, especially when he has the beard. Domhnall Gleeson, he must look like their mother or something, because I don't get the lanky, skinny shit. That is not Brendan Gleeson whatsoever.
You guys may remember him from was it 28 Days Later, where he played Frank, and the Smurfs movie, Smurfs 2. No, nobody.
He also played Mad Eye Moody.
Yeah, Mad Eye Moody.
Yes.
Just you.
Seriously, nobody. Smurfs 2. Okay,
No.
all right.
By the way, Justin, I just noticed you.
I have kids and no. I have young kids and no.
And no.
Papa Smurf, I don't think they're watching our sequel.
Brainy. Stop it.
But we put NPH in it.
So the other big character was this guy, the one talking about Thrawn, and he's actually like Thrawn's right-hand guy, Jalad Palian, and he's actually from Rebels as well.
Oh wow!
He's a larger character in Rebels, and also the Thrawn novels.
He looks like the second in command in Outbreak.
Oh, he's actually from the Thrawn novels.
I have two questions real quick.
Thrawn
Heir to the
Treason.
Empire. Right?
No, Thrawn Treason audiobook.
Oh,
whatever.
I have two quick
I
questions.
thought it was.
Have you guys talked about Ahsoka yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. 2, based off of that question, has Thrawn been shown in live action?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
I thought I thought we were gonna get a glimpse or something today. No.
Okay.
Yeah, he
No, they'll definitely save that for Ahsoka.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah.
I-
Well, I mean, he's in the leaked trailer.
I mean, there are some people who are kind of scratching their heads on this one because it looks as though the plan for what Disney has currently for Star Wars properties is, they have these things coming from the Mandalorian and then Ahsoka and what have you, and then a lot of these plot lines are going to converge and jump ahead, and then we're going to see what they're doing with the new movies that are going to be released in theaters with Daisy Ridley in them, which I'm actually super pumped that they're bringing her back because I like Daisy Ridley a lot. I think she's a very talented actress, and everyone in that sequel trilogy was given short shrift. Everyone.
Yep.
So many talented people involved, and they were not able to work to their full capabilities. They were kneecapped. But some folks I've seen commenting online and in different little video things I've seen, they're all just like, oh, to make the jump from TV essentially to going to a movie, that's very X-Files, and it doesn't quite work the way that I think they're hoping. Even in this day and age, that's a lot to put on people to have to know in order to go. They should be standalone. You shouldn't have to see all these things in order to enjoy these movies, which I agree with. I don't think they're going to construct them that it's entirely necessary to see everything. You'll probably just have a deeper understanding of certain aspects of it as it goes on, and that word of mouth is probably part of what they're kind of hoping with in regards to involvement from general audiences altogether. But to that point,
links,
to the point that a lot of people several people have been citing the X-Files, how it was a show and then they made a movie and it came back. It just doesn't quite work when you have a television show and bring it to the movies. To that I say Star Trek.
Yep.
Okay.
For everything that you want to say, it doesn't quite work, I say original series and Next Generation. They both successfully went from television to movies. I mean, honestly,
and
Star
even
Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, forget about it, dude. You didn't need to, but that right there is proof positive that, if you saw the episode Space Seed, you get a little bit more for The Wrath of Khan. But if you hadn't, it's still an awesome fucking movie. And that, I think, is the type of thing that they're shooting for with these things happening in some of these shows, and still planning on doing theatrical releases for actual movies in the near future.
Well,
so I think there's a lot to be hopeful for. And once again, I can't stress this enough for everybody that keeps saying in the same breath, I think Jon Favreau is really positioned well to take over all of Lucasfilm. All the stuff that you're seeing now that you think is awesome, that's been developed and is coming out, was all approved by Kathleen Kennedy. Everything, good and bad, that you like from Lucasfilm and Star Wars, gang, it's all the same person. So for everything that you disagree with that she did, all the fucking great stuff that you're loving right now, the shows and all that jazz, she is also responsible for. And honestly, I don't think Jon Favreau has any true interest in taking over Lucasfilm.
Hell no.
He's a filmmaker.
Jon Favreau, he's still an actor too.
Yeah. But I mean, he's a filmmaker. That's what he wants. He wants to tell stories.
He does fucking art pieces. Like he's great at direction. He knows what he's doing, but he's also great at taking a subject and just going with it. You've seen that was it Chef? Was that the movie? No.
Yeah, the movie
Oh
Chef.
My God, Chef, yes.
It's the fact that he directed and acted in that, it's such I have not seen a better movie about food service. And family.
Do you know what that scene is where he's working for Dustin Hoffman and he quits at the beginning? Do you know what that whole thing is?
No.
That's Jon Favreau working with Ike Perlmutter.
Oh.
At the end of Iron Man 2.
Holy fuck, it never put two and two together.
Rewatch that scene. No, this is my restaurant, my ingredients. You make the food I tell you to make. Well then, fine. I'll just make the same old boring shit that you want made all the time. Gives it to the critic, and the critic's like, I thought you were like an inventive, creative chef, and this is the same kind of crap I can get anywhere. Well, no thanks. I'm good. That's a perfect allegory for his experience with Ike Perlmutter through Marvel Studios making Iron Man 2.
Now that you say that, like, it makes total sense. And he's the type of filmmaker and everything to give that subtle hint too.
I picked up on it right away. I was like, "Oh, son of a bitch. This is a little too clever for the room, I think." But yeah, it when you know that watching it, like, ooh, he was definitely not happy about what they did to that movie. I honestly do think there was likely a much better performance that was pulled from what's his face? Mickey Rourke. Excuse me, yeah, Mickey Rourke. I honestly do. And I don't blame Mickey Rourke for being as vocally bitter about his experience doing that movie at all. But yeah, Jon Favreau, he's a storyteller. He likes to tell stories. And I know, like, he's an actor. I know all that. Like, I was well aware of his existence as an actor long before he was a director. But his involvement as an actor in some of this stuff, it's tangential to his involvement as a producer, writer, and director. That's more just like, oh, this is gonna be fun. Like, I can jump in and play around a little bit in that sandbox, and now, okay, I'm back behind the camera. But I don't think he really has any true desire to take over like administrative capabilities for an entire film division for Disney.
You know,
like,
at first I thought that he would have been probably like a natural person to do so, but like he's just too good with writing. He's just too good with like the direction of where it's going. Like, if I could see anything, I could see them doing kind of like what James Gunn and what's his name did with DC Studios.
Oh,
Peter Safran.
Yeah, Peter Safran. Like the two of them maybe running with it once Kathleen Kennedy leaves, but like it would need to be a duo instead of just one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think
you have Filoni as well, you know.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying. Filoni and Favreau.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think there is such a thing too as being a little too mired in some of the stuff. You know, I think
I have a disagreement with that, but go ahead.
I think that Kevin Feige being used as an example, once again, I've said this on previous episodes, people always forget, not recently because her name has been all over the place, but they always forget to involve Victoria Alonso's name in regards to all the Marvel Studios productions, movies and shows. She was not as geekily mired in the material. She had other aspects that she was overseeing and that she was able to bring different things to the table. And I think it's important to have that perspective, because as geeks, as nerds, it's very easy for us to get very excited about the stuff we know, and we know that other geeks know, but you need to have somebody who's not as versed in all of that to step in and say, but why does that make sense if I haven't seen this?
Well, that's something that I agree is totally needed, and hopefully brought to Star Wars, you know, as they move on. But one of the big problems with Marvel was, like you mentioned with Ike, you have the higher ups, and same thing happened with DC. You get the suits that are pushing their own thoughts on it, like, oh, we need to have a giant spider, or we need to have this so that we can sell the toys. You know, it's, you know, I don't care, make it work. You know, it's not having that.
But James Gunn and Peter Safran still hit that same balance that I'm talking about, where you have the filmmaker who grew up reading the source material and loves the characters, and then you have the film producer who, focuses on a lot of different other aspects of what that entire creative process is. You got to strike a balance.
Oh yeah, you
And-
have two people that are really well that can do the job well, and you're not constrained by like.
But Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are both hardcore Star Wars nerds. And Dave Filoni's stuff has been a serious push to inclusion for all the stuff that he did in animation. And it's great that everybody who loves the animation is watching the stuff that's being made now and they're like, oh, that's from this cartoon, and this is from this cartoon, and this is from that cartoon. What happens when we get to a point where original stuff needs to be thrown in and expanded upon? That, I think, is something that needs to be handled delicately, and you need to have a different perspective other than somebody who's been in the thick of it for 20 years. You have to have an outsider's point of view in order to bring the general audience's voice to the forefront, so it makes sense for everyone.
Dave Filoni's been around, been in the muck of it all for the past 25 years.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, maybe I missed that part.
What about Bryce Dallas Howard, who's been directing a lot of these? She's bringing a whole fresh perspective and a unique view. Maybe someone like that could be your outside influence who's kind of an industry insider. But
I guess what I'm saying to that is like with Dave Filoni kind of has the idea of where direction should go. Like even being inside of it, if you had to go original, I would trust Dave Filoni to have the right idea.
Maybe that's what I'm saying though, is like, yeah, maybe we should trust them. But on the other hand, maybe we shouldn't. Like, we don't know. We can't say for a fact until it happens.
I get what you're saying.
But they need to mitigate as much as they can, because this is too big, and they've already had far too many missteps with what they've tried.
That being said, the same burnout that I've been feeling from Marvel, I've been feeling from Star Wars. I'm
starting to get that Star Wars burnout.
I will say, seeing the Ahsoka trailer completely changed that.
See, I'm with you. Like, very much ready for that. Acolytes looks really cool. Don't know if I need more animation. There's a lot more animation coming out as well, and I'm just like, I know there's kids and stuff, and I know Star Wars is for kids. Like, I understand that.
But even in its origins, I mean, Star Wars was it's a film. You know? So the representation from the get-go was people in roles in this lived-in world, and you get this sci-fi huge scope Western that still in many moments feels small because the focus is on just a few characters here and there. And that's important that overall. I think when you get into the animation, it's very easy to increase the scope of that sci-fi portion altogether and have it be a vista, a panoramic view of all this crazy cool stuff that can or could be involved in the story that your story is part of, but it can obfuscate, it can make very fuzzy what the end goal is. And what they I think they're trying to do is get a bit more back to basics and say, hey, the disconnect between some of these things may be that we need to have actual people telling these stories on screen so that there's more of an attachment, more for the audience that isn't mired in everything moving forward. It's far easier to relate to, honestly, I'm not knocking any animation. I'm really not. I love animation, generally speaking. But I'm just saying, from on a human level, it's far easier to relate directly to Rosario Dawson, like who in fucking crazy head makeup and orange white stripes all over is still like one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen, than an animated figure that looks the same.
I agree.
And it's human stories being told in a very strange yet familiar and nostalgic setting at this point. And that's, I think, what part of the focus needs to be for them, and why you're seeing a shift from all animation, which was the easiest and cheapest way for them to do it for the longest time,
Understandable,
to having live action representation, which they can connect across series and then dovetail into theatrical stuff. I mean, especially if you're dealing with things that happened in the past that could have far-reaching implications for what a theatrical adventure would be, because it gives the opportunity to revisit if somebody is interested, and they don't feel like it's a completely separate thing from what it is that they watched that brought them to that point. Like, I'm interested in the stuff that happened in the Clone Wars series, but I honestly have no desire to watch the Clone Wars series because it doesn't feel the same as when I've seen a lot of these characters in the films.
It doesn't feel important.
Yeah,
Well,
it doesn't.
So let me break in there. And I felt the same way. But with watching Mandalorian and wanting to learn more, like I never watched, Clone Wars and Rebels and whatnot. But in, learning about the little winks and nods in Mandalorian, I went back and started watching, Clone Wars. Like I watched all the episodes that had, Bo-Katan in it and trying to learn more about that. And then starting to watch Rebels when, they introduced Zeb, and then we also had the space whales and everything. And in watching like Clone Wars, I've definitely grown an appreciation for that show, and especially Ahsoka. And I know you have more of a connection with Rosario Dawson, but in watching the show, you do end up having, end up caring for the Ahsoka character, especially if like you watch her fight with Vader. If you've watched some of the show and like seen her connection with Anakin, and then the heartbreaking battle of her finally facing off with Vader after he's turned, it's like
no, I completely understand that, and I'm not discounting any of that. I just think 7 seasons of an animated series,
it's tough to get through. Yeah,
is way
Especially
too much of
when
an
it's
ask
geared
for
towards
a
kids.
general
Yeah,
audience
right.
fan.
never mind just that one series. Now you got
And I'm just talking about Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Rebels.
And then which Clone Wars? You had the
Gendy Tartakovsky thing that kicked off in 2001.
That was really cool. I actually did watch that.
It's
that
like
was cool.
You have
Ventress and all that.
the Clone Wars movie, then you have 7 seasons of the Clone Wars animated series. Then you got fucking how many seasons? 5 seasons of Rebels or some shit like that.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah,
and then now we're on the 3rd season of Bad Batch coming up.
We just finished the
Third
second
and final.
Third's going to be the final. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like that's a big ask altogether in order to ramp up to a live action series that will have some kind of ramification for the movies.
Well, they want you to go back and watch it on Disney Plus,
Yeah, they can
some of the Clone Wars
shit in one hand, want in the other. See which one fills up first.
I see it more as like they're doing a lot of nods to the diehards, like which I'm like diehard adjacent. Like I've watched the movies enough times to know what I'm talking about, but I don't know anything behind the lore in the books or the shows. So when you tell me something, I'm just like, oh, okay.
Listen, when all, you know what? Let me pop this up because Carrie gave us
sorry, I missed
soliloquy.
And everyone's like,
no, it's all right. But I was actually going to say something much to the same point.
I agree, Carrie.
Carrie said, I have no idea what's going on in the majority of the Star Wars universe at this point, but I am interested in whether or not the rumors have been confirmed on the Night Sisters being brought in on Ahsoka. I'd be willing to read a synopsis of everything I'd need to know to see that. No way in hell I'd watch it all, though. And Carrie, 100% agree. That's exactly what I've been doing.
1,000% agree with that. Like,
yeah.
If I could get a synopsis on everything that took place between this and that, I'm good.
Yeah, like I've joked about it, like on episodes past. Like Leo's like, oh, all that, because Leo knows so much Star Wars shit back to front. So does Jar Jar for the most part. You know a lot of Star Wars stuff. You guys have both said a few things here and there where I'm like, oh,
get taken by Leo.
I did not know that thing.
He does have.
To that, I know a sliver.
But to that, I always say, I'm like, yeah,
well, 133 episodes.
The fun thing about all of that stuff is I'll just go to fucking Google. Like I'll go to Wikipedia.
Exactly. Wikipedia.
Wikipedia, and I'll just be like,
I like Star Trek. It's a lot simpler. Like I can watch all of it. Like I don't even like most of Voyager, but I'd still rather watch that than all the Clone Wars.
Oh, you know what? I'm in agreement with you.
133 episodes.
All the way on that, Justin.
Yeah, but you had Red Foreman dressed as an alien at least twice, so I'm in.
132 of those episodes can fuck themselves.
Is that how many seasons there were?
Well put. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of fun stuff. I just think that the live stuff that they've been embarking on for the Disney Plus series involving the Star Wars universe, I think that's a smarter move for audience involvement. People see something, it feels more bombastic. There's more of a human connection to it. It doesn't feel removed by 1, 2, 3 nth degrees. It's right there in front of you, and to anticipate and I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not saying it in a mean way, but like for someone like Dave Filoni who worked on all those things and he lives, eats, breathes, sleeps it. It's great. It's absolutely great for diehards. Like you were saying, Steve, diehard adjacent. For diehards to be like, yeah, fine, all this shit. But for the longest time, there are a lot of people who love the original trilogy of movies, and maybe we're okay with the prequel trilogy, maybe got to a point where like, all right, this is not bad. Okay, it is what it is. And
no
however,
I can never be okay with the prequels.
And however anybody feels about the sequel trilogy, but
the third one was all right.
But for a lot of people, most people, in fact, that is Star Wars.
Yeah,
there's not there's not outside
there's no reboot.
Yeah, outside of that bubble where you have the people who have just been mired in that fandom for 40, 50 years.
Word of the day is mired.
It's just fucking they don't. Why would they care about a bunch of animated series? I don't think it's I don't think it's a fair expectation for all that homework to be done.
Especially living today where our attention spans are non-existent.
And it's content overload too,
Exactly. Well, it's content overloaded on the backside of it. Like if it's not something you weren't on the ground floor for, it's like, oh fuck, now I have to do all of this to know exactly what's going on here.
And I can understand how some people have made comparisons to like Marvel Studios and their approach. The difference, I would say, and I'm not standing in defense of Marvel. I'm just trying to contrast and compare. The difference is that Marvel was always, for the most part, pretty upfront about what was involved in the saga that they were doing. Like, we're doing these movies, they're coming out, they're connected. We're going to have this series, this series, this series. Like, it was all right there in the forefront. For the longest time, if you were not following Star Wars stuff specifically, there was no way you would know that all of these stories were being done in animation that you might need to know something about, involving what you saw previously in a movie and how it bridged the gap to the original movies, which are actually like the continuation of the prequels. Like that was not common knowledge.
So I feel like the biggest problem is that they're taking a lot of the books as canon, and it's like that's not what Marvel did. Marvel said, all right, we're going to take the Infinity Saga, but we're going to kind of make it our own. We're going to change it up just a little bit so you don't have to know what the Infinity War books were all about.
Well, I mean, I think they're cherry picking the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, but it's still very like reveled in the books.
Well, I think I think they're pulling more.
I don't know if I used reveled correctly. Sorry.
It's fine.
I think they're pulling more from the cartoons. You know, anything that is coming from the books is pretty much like adjacent to it, like Thrawn. You know, Thrawn was in Heir to the Empire. You know, but then he moved over to Rebels. Yeah. And then was also in the audiobook and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is what I said at the start of this, was like Filoni is gearing all this stuff towards what he had been working on in animation for years. And that's fine. But when we hit a wall where, okay, now what's the next thing? You know, it shouldn't...
Game of Thrones conundrum right there.
Yeah, it shouldn't harken back to fucking season 3, episode 7 of the Clone Wars. You get what I'm saying?
Yep. So you're saying, okay, I kind of get a little more what you're saying is like when there's no more content to harp on, what are they going to
pull from?
Yeah, are they gonna do the right thing and make it right, or are they gonna be like?
Well, I think they did.
The guy in the wheelchair wins.
Well, jeez.
Sorry.
Oh my God, the feels right there. Oh my God. But like if you look at Mandalorian, it came from just like, you know, what's more story about Boba Fett. You know, it's totally unique stories, and you know, they started pulling in from like the cartoons, but like the first season, that's all like original new stuff, you know. And I think they did it right.
I mean, I can't speak to what was or wasn't in any other iteration that may have come in animation before.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I'll sure, but it doesn't change the fact that once it was established,
they pulled in.
It's become an exposition machine for everything that Dave Filoni already worked on and developed in animation. And I'm not poo-pooing that. Like that's fine. Yeah, I get it, not a problem. But there's a natural stopping point where you reach a threshold for all of that stuff and the connections that you can make because you are furthering the story. And once you do certain things, it's either going to incorporate or negate other stuff that can't be revisited. It can't be redone.
I have the solution. Go to Lucas.
We're retconning it.
Go to Lucas? Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. They paid him $4 billion to not be involved.
Yeah.
Why do you think I was just looking around so nobody saw my face?
Yeah, I mean,
I just like to point out that the new Willow series started out as a George Lucas idea. Look what happened there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can check the records on this, folks. There was nobody more excited than me that this thing was coming out, and I was jumping up and down in my chair. It is horrible. It is unwatchable.
I got through one episode, and that was rough getting through that episode.
It gets worse.
You're the only one that was cool about it.
Yeah, I'm also the genius that said I didn't think Into the Spider-Verse would be good. Yeah, still kicking myself on that one. So my instincts are razor sharp, folks. But I'm not really. I'm a casual Star Wars fan, so it's like all this stuff you're talking about, absolutely true. I've seen.
You're more into the color green than anything.
Absolutely, I like turtles. You know, but the Bad Batch is Ninja Turtles. Like if you watch it, you can literally be like, okay, that's Raphael, that's Michelangelo, that's Donatello, and
that's,
you know,
Venus.
That makes sense because then season 3 is going to be the last Ronin.
Yeah, maybe it would be, right?
Come on.
You just don't know who it's going to be, right?
last episode of Bad Batch for season 2. Oh my god, so rough.
Was it? Oh, geez.
Oh yeah, they
I'm never gonna see it though, so I appreciate it.
Spoiler alert: they killed off some main characters, and it was
everyone dies.
It was rough.
Oh, that's awful. Like just like we had talked about Andor, it's another thing where it's like it's another vein of this. And for those who are really thirsty for Star Wars and all that, I'm glad that they have it. It's just I don't really like. It's not for me. You know, I'll go back and watch my Caravan of Courage. Thank you very much.
Right?
I'm not even kidding. I will.
No, I have the dual CD.
I have to look it up. I have no idea what the fuck Caravan of
They're on Disney Plus.
Ewoks.
Ewok Adventure and Caravan of Courage.
Yeah,
there were two. The only 2 Star Wars movies we ever got for the longest time outside of the trilogies.
I've never watched this.
They're really bad, but they're really good.
Yeah, one of the kids in one of the movies is named Mace.
Yep.
Yeah, when Samuel Jackson first showed up in Phantom Menace, I was like, wasn't that the name of the fucking kid in Ewoks? And they were like, no, his last name wasn't Windu. And I was like, oh, if you fucking say so.
Okay, I guess.
But back then we had cartoons too, because you had the Ewoks cartoons and then droids. Yeah. Droids sucked.
Yeah,
I know.
I
watch Ewoks every week.
I still have my Wicket the Ewok plate, bowl, and cup set from when I was like 4 years old.
Oh, nice.
It's a sticky wicket.
Sticky wicket.
Oh, Jesus.
Rocket ship crash.
Yeah, like, you know, but those were fluff.
Yeah.
You know, in the way that these other animated projects have been presented, particularly to the fandom, is like, oh no, all this matters. This is part of everything.
Yeah, those were for fun. Like
those were Saturday morning cartoons.
See the movies.
Yeah,
it was like Land of the Lost. Yes. She's the best. You're the best, Carrie. Thank you for legitimizing
Both of you guys
me.
fight over that real quick.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We both had the same idea at the same time.
Yeah.
No, yes, no, yes, no, yes.
You know what? I need buttons for that.
Yes.
Watching this week's version of episode of Mandalorian, I need a yes button.
No, yes.
Guys, all I know is
yes.
Tim Meadows is a great addition to the Star Wars mythos,
Tim Meadows
and I'm
pissed
glad
me
that
off.
he's there. I'm just glad that he's there.
Off. He pissed me off.
Do you know him? I mean, like, did you
cut me off in traffic? Fuck that guy.
Like, I think it just more annoyed me that what he did in the 3 episodes ago.
He played the principal from Mean Girls on Star Wars.
Pretty
I will keep you here till 4:30.
Yeah. Just
no Mean Girls, guys. Okay.
I think I've been
a while
watching
since I've seen it.
Goldberg's. He's awesome in Goldberg.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Yep.
Pop star.
He just set a
Don't
precedent.
fuck with me, Youngblood. I will eat your head.
He just set a precedent for
Different
what the what's it called? What, not the Empire? What the fuck?
New Republic.
New Republic is all about. It's like, if you're not with us, fuck you.
They needed to show that though, because we need
I know, yeah. but I love Tim Meadows. Anything he does, and it's like when he kind of plays the bad guy, it's like, fuck.
Well, you also had Ellie that was kind of like edging him, you know.
I suppose.
But following up.
Oh yeah, you're correct. The
episode that was on last week from the Pershing episode and all that. They were following the right rules for visual storytelling. They alluded to what the New Republic's operating system is like now, and then by showing Din Djarin and Bo-Katan go to Jack Black and Lizzo's planet, you got to see what that entailed. Like, what was it actually like on a planet that wasn't affiliated with the New Republic? And you know, that's like one of the major tenets of visual storytelling is you can tell it, but only if you have the plan to show it. It's Chekhov's gun. Don't mention it unless you plan on using it. And since they mentioned it, they had the chance to display it, and that gives us, that's the world building. It's a smart move. I just,
in an 8-issue or an 8-episode season, though, it's one of those things where they run the risk of taking too long to do that exposition and then skipping out on other things. Like I had mentioned to you on Monday about like how I thought it was rushed at the end of last week's episode. So some of that stuff, it's going to rob Peter to pay Paul,
Yeah,
Are we getting an extra large final episode?
Oh, that'd be great.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I hope so. I forgot
Stranger
that
Things
there were
style.
only 8 episodes.
Yeah. I just hope I know it's not going to happen, but it'd be great if we see Luke again, for the
Honestly, I kind of don't want that. I don't
either.
I'm all done with them bringing back characters from the original trilogy / Skywalker saga like that. Let's keep moving forward and sideways.
I would be okay if Ahsoka came on.
What if Solo showed up?
Cobb Vanth, maybe?
Well, I'm just thinking the predicament, and those that haven't seen it, after you watch it, the predicament that they're left in, I could see, since Baby Yoda or Grogu spent 2 years with Luke.
Oh, we're still on that name?
Yeah. Maybe calling out to him,
I think that's a little too Deus Ex Machina. Okay. I don't think that they should be leaning on. I don't think they should be leaning on Luke Skywalker showing up to save the day, because
my daughters would fight you for that.
They already had Luke show up to save the day, and
That's
if
true.
they did it again, it
might cheapen it.
It would definitely cheapen it, and it would just become a trope within the show itself. Like, oh, okay, big trouble. Grogu's there. Oh, so Luke. I guess Luke's gonna show up by the end of the season. And also,
I actually
the
think
lesson that they learned from Solo was, we can't ever recast any of these actors from the original trilogy, and that's why they've leaned so heavy on doing these deep fakes. And Luke did not look great when they did this. I would rather not have any of these characters involved in the continuing adventures, so we can get new, fresh takes, than going back to the well until it's fucking bone dry. That's my own personal take.
You mean to say a Luke that doesn't blink, what didn't look good?
Will Smith from Gemini Man quality.
I've always wanted to see what Luke Skywalker would look like if he were in the Polar Express. Fantastic.
Hey, look at me. I'm Skywalker.
It's just
Eddie Deason.
I'm just hoping that they don't end on a sad note, for
what's gonna happen though.
No.
I think we're gonna get to see more Grogu's powers by the end of this last episode coming out.
I mean, honestly, Star Wars really lives or dies on sad down endings. Like a sad down ending is
Empire.
What gives Star Wars more meaning overall. Empire Strikes Back, prime example, one of the worst kept fucking twists in film history, but it's an effective twist nonetheless. And that episode does not end on a hopeful note. It really does not. Shit is fucked. And that made what occurs in Return of the Jedi that much more meaningful. You need to have the bitter right alongside the sweet.
So that's what made you had the bitter at the end of last season of Mandalorian, and then you had the sweet, Boba Fett.
And also, you gotta.
Yeah. Sweet is certainly the fucking word that I think of when
I was going to say nothing about Boba Fett.
We're also building up to where the First Order takes over. So, obviously, things aren't going to go well.
I mean, Thrawn's definitely, most likely Thrawn's going to show up next episode.
I don't say that.
You think?
What do you guys do if he dies in one episode?
He won't die.
Cad Bane style.
No, I
don't think Thrawn is showing up next episode. I really don't think they'd blow their wad in the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
because that's something that's going to drive people to Ahsoka. It just doesn't make sense.
To see Thrawn, don't get me wrong, but I don't.
Please, Boba Fett season 2. Oh.
Personally, I think they may kill off Moff.
And Moff's gonna die.
And then bring in, or maybe they just mentioned Thrawn is taking command. But
Moff died on his way back to his planet, like Poochie.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've had every opportunity to kill him off, and literally you found the husk of his spaceship, and they're like, oh, but it was empty, there was no body. I'm like, oh, okay,
somehow
that's what we're doing.
I ain't got no body.
Ewok Jedi.
That would be
Ewok
cool.
Jedi, yeah.
With some sort of like a staff instead,
Can I ask you guys a question? Because this is just a theory in my head. Have they?
Yes, all the Ewoks died after the Death Star blew up.
Nope.
That settles that then.
Have they, talked about the origins of Grogu?
Not particularly. No.
They've alluded to that he was part of a cloning project. But...
So my assumption is that he's a clone of Yoda because he came from Kamino.
Who came from Kamino?
Grogu.
No, he didn't.
Did he? No, I think he was one of the apprentices on.
He was a Jedi apprentice.
He was a youngling. He was a youngling that was saved from Order 66.
He said Route 66.
Yes, Route 66, Car 54. Where are you?
Oh, you're Steve. You're 2 episodes behind. Did you see? Oh wait, no, you would have seen that.
Yeah,
because that was before the Tim Meadows.
You saw when the Jedi Knight showed up, played by Ahmed Best, who was the voice of Jar Jar Binks. So I mean, Grogu was a youngling. He was one of the Jedi in training, essentially. He's not a clone of Yoda. He's just from the same race.
I thought they implied that he was taken from Kamino.
No, I don't think they've mentioned like where he came from. I think we know he's
the
like
Empire maybe grabbed him from Kamino, but because after
who knows where he ended up?
Yeah.
Okay, my mind wandered.
I know there was a pink one of like Yoda's species in the first of those prequel movies. And I think Yaddle was the female version, but it was the
only other one of Yoda's race that
they've showed
seen before Grogu.
Yeah. This one had like a weird eye patch.
And Yaddle did not talk like Yoda.
No,
she spoke regularly, making me think that Yoda had some kind of fucking stroke at some point.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like literally.
Yoda just was like.
I think it's just nuts. He was just old, like super old, right?
Yoda and E.T. were in the same classes in high school.
What we saw on fucking Dagobah was the result of his stroke.
Because he was. I mean, when 900 years you become, look as good you may not.
If I make 900 years, I hope to look as good as he did.
I was thinking about the whole thing with Dagobah, just like the other day, like kind of talking about it with Dara, kind of ruminating out loud, and it finally hit me. I was like, it never made sense to me as a kid that Yoda, after Order 66 and all that, like even before the prequels, I was like, oh, so Yoda's on this swamp planet, and he's a Jedi Master that's going to train Luke Skywalker after he shows up. And when he's training him, he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, like, you need to go into that place over there because it's just, like, filled with the dark side force shit. And don't bring your weapons. They're not going to help you. And Luke's like, oh, yeah, sure. This is all completely normal. A pocket of dark side power. Yeah, I'll just walk in. And then, Darth Vader's head chopped off, mask blows up. It's Luke. Ah! Which was actually great foreshadowing later on, especially for the end of that movie and going into Return of the Jedi. But the thing is, it didn't occur to me up until like a few days ago. It was actually a brilliant tactical move that Yoda went there. I feel like he would have gone to Dagobah for 2 reasons specifically. It's a fucking far off planet in the Outer Rim itself. No one would give 2 shits about. But because of the fact that it had that dark side nexus, it would cover his presence when Darth Vader was trying to feel him out and see if he was anywhere out there. It would
You should
completely
read the comic book, Brandon. It was almost like you wrote it.
Yeah, you know, great suggestion. Not going to do it.
I know. I was waiting for you.
Funny thing about that, no.
Was that Charles
Brandon,
Soule?
they went into it. Yeah, Charles Soule definitely went into the whole Dagobah thing, and but then you totally went into the reasoning. It covers up his
ADHD. I follow patterns. That's what it is. That's why. Yeah.
So in the midst of all this, I was just looking.
I will fucking murder you so hard. I swear, Leo.
I think Brandon was alluding to earlier Zack Snyder taking over on Star Wars. We would get some super slow motion lightsaber fights, and it turns out Luke Skywalker's not the hero we all thought he was.
He shoots 5 minutes of film, but somehow it lasts an hour and 38 minutes. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite things recently about like people complaining. The Snyder cult is complaining about Blue Beetle. They're like, that looks like a fucking Netflix movie. It doesn't even look that good. And in the same breath, going, they need to sell Snyderverse to Netflix so they can make 2 more Justice League movies, a Green Lantern movie, a Martian Manhunter movie, and a Superman sequel. Which one is it, dickheads? Is Netflix good enough or not? I don't understand you. Like,
I'm taking my business to Hulu.
For logic.
It looks cheap, like Netflix, and they should sell it all to Netflix.
God, at least it's not freeform.
I want to pull back the reins on what I just said. I just looked it up. Grogu is the same age as Anakin, so I'm gonna go fuck myself.
It's fucking. It's fucking.
It's okay.
Great.
We still like you better than Hayden Christensen.
Oh, that kid got a bum rap too.
Christensen.
He got a bum rap.
Have you ever?
I didn't say he was bad. I just like
Life as a House, dude.
Dude, I cried.
That he was great in that movie because he was given good direction. George Lucas is a very technically skilled director. He is not a good director of people.
If George Lucas worked with autistic people, it'd be great. I mean that.
Yeah, no, I
understand exactly.
I know exactly. Yeah, if he worked with neurodivergent
I was thinking the same
people,
thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like when Hayden Christensen was given proper direction in a movie with proper character development, he was excellent. And as a green kid from Canada coming into Attack of the Clones, George Lucas was so much more focused on how the special effects were going to look that the performances were incidental to the overall execution of his movies. And I think it speaks volumes, honestly, to the fact that George Lucas did not create any physical space for what he was doing in those prequel movies. And it feels off because of it.
Grabby.
And no, not even cash grabby. He just didn't construct anything. It was all, I have the special effects technology to make anything in the background. So here's a tennis ball that I need you to pretend is this thing, and here's 6 more tennis balls over here, and this is a green screen behind you. Whereas when we got to the sequel series, regardless of anything else, they built sets and actual things to interact with. They actually had the Millennium Falcon, the interior done. They went back and rebuilt the Uncle Lars and Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru's fucking farm in Tunisia. It was all real physical spaces with very, very limited digital backdrops, and it actually felt like they were inhabiting the world that they were supposed to be interacting with, as opposed to the basically fancy animation that was those 3 prequel movies. That shit's important because it actually informs an actor's performance, and it keeps the audience engaged because they don't feel as if they're being pulled away and like, oh, this is just definitely like fake.
Phantom Menace in 3D was the best. Visually, he did well with that.
I like the music. That's all I'll say.
I could have sworn I saw Return of the Jedi is returning to theaters.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, next month.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
I see that
around May 4th, maybe
30th.
Maybe.
Is it the 30th anniversary?
40th.
40th. That's one. Yeah.
Yep. Damn, we're old.
I just like to point out right before I got on, you guys were talking about Electric Mayhem, which I think is amazing, and
that's why
I hope that I hope that you were excited about it as I am. I have a shrine in my home to the Electric Mayhem, and
really?
Don't you think that Star Wars could benefit from some more Muppets?
Yes.
Yes.
So
I love Muppets.
Can I go back on something real quick? So from the original trilogy of the Star Wars, George Lucas said that he had this entire idea.
It's a lie.
Are you saying he didn't say it or he never did?
No, I'm saying like we're saying he said it.
Yeah,
he was lying
because like he had 16
He was
years
technically
from
telling
Return
the
of the
truth. He's like,
Jedi.
I have this whole idea planned out. Oh, really? You want to tell us? No, I can't tell you because his whole idea was make more Star Wars movies. That was it.
I think that's what I think kind of pissed me off because I was probably 15. I think I was 15 when Phantom Menace came out, and like I was all about it because it was a new Star Wars movie. But once I kind of like really looked at it objectively, it's like, what the fuck is this?
The hell with
there's some good parts,
I love Jar Jar.
Yeah, Jar Jar Binks getting electrocuted.
That's the funniest shit. Or when they fucking do the little boot and he
There's some good parts of those movies. There's also some awful parts of those movies.
I loved
it's 90% awful, 10% good.
Yeah.
I'm
a big fan of bad movies, so I know this.
I am too.
I think that Revenge of the Sith was the point where George Lucas, unfortunately, but finally, really kind of knuckled down and was like, oh, I think I actually have to make sure that this one is a better overall story in execution than the other two. Like, I have to be a bit more direct and have a straight through line for what this is going to end on. Because the first two movies, there was a lot of side information that didn't seem particularly relevant. A lot of what I always joke about saying, like, oh, C-SPAN Galaxy. Like, okay, we got a bunch of fucking space senators fucking floating around and talking about goddamn trade treaties. Okay, cool.
Or Padme giving a fucking 10-year-old fuck me eyes.
Yeah. But like, there's certain things like in Revenge of the Sith. I know it seems kind of almost superfluous. It doesn't really matter in the scheme of things, but you see what George Lucas is talking about when he himself has said, like, it's poetry. This is refrains and rhymes. There are lyrics that match and mirror one another. One of the things I noticed straight away when I first saw Revenge of the Sith in the movie theater is when Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker have their throwdown on Exegol. Is that no?
Yeah.
What's the name of the lava planet that?
Oh, Mustafar.
Mustafar, thank you. Exegol is where Palpatine was. So, my bad.
Yeah.
So on Mustafar, in what is it that Obi-Wan says to Anakin when he fucking tries to come at him?
One.
I have the high ground.
Give it up. I have the high ground.
Yeah.
Okay, makes perfect sense. I get it. When's the last time you watched Return of the Jedi?
Last year.
Yeah, probably.
I didn't know there was going to be a test.
Did you pay special attention at all to when Luke and Darth Vader are going at one another in front of Palpatine?
Hold on. No.
You're talking about when he jumps up into the rafters?
Darth Vader stays above Luke almost the entire time they are fighting because he learned his lesson when he went up against Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of Revenge of the Sith. he tries to maintain the high ground the whole time.
He also has the high ground in Empire.
God damn it! I'm going to sleep soon. Don't make me fucking.
He didn't really have the high ground in the Obi-Wan series either, huh? You still haven't learned your lesson, but yet they both ended up getting their asses kicked in that one. So
there wasn't really much high ground to be had.
It was a level playing field.
Also,
level ground.
That was a good one though. By the way, I really enjoyed
that fight. Was amazing.
We're not getting
it kind of made up for the whole season.
Yeah, I do want to see the fan edit movie.
That would be cool.
That looks pretty badass from like
Didn't I read that Topher Grace made like a 5-minute edit to the prequels and it made total fucking sense?
He's done a bunch of different things for Star Wars, but yeah, he did something along those lines. A fun little fact: if next time you're watching Empire Strikes Back, turn up the volume and pay special attention when Vader and Luke are trying to fight one another, and Vader all of a sudden like pops up out of nowhere to come at Luke, and when he comes at him, Vader sounds winded. He was holding his breath so Luke couldn't hear his breather.
No kidding.
It's true.
Makes
sense.
So
just like in Rogue One, as much as I fucking hate that movie, he shut his fucking panel off so they couldn't see him in the dark. Yeah, he shut his breathing panel off. So then the first thing you see is boom, and then it comes on and he starts fucking everybody up.
Best part of the movie.
Yeah, the only part worth seeing.
With Saul Guerrero could shut his breathing off.
I fucking love that movie.
Saul Guerrero makes his way into Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Does he have a wonky eye?
No.
Fuck. No, but he does have tickets to see Earth, Wind, and Fire that he got from. You nerd! That's a reference to Fast Time at Ridgemont High. So.
Holy shit! Totally awesome, man.
That's all I got. I mean, otherwise, Good Morning Vietnam. What do you want? Ghost Dog? Anybody? No. Okay.
I mean,
I remember Ghost Dog.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's good.
Ghost Dog was sick.
I personally have no use for Rogue One as a story, for numerous reasons, not the least of which is the fucking character of Mads Mikkelsen in that stupid fucking hologram message. That just drives me up a fucking wall. Yeah, he's not seen his daughter in 20 fucking years. Literally has no idea if she ever survived. No clue. And he is just like, I don't know how much time I have. So I just want to say this to my daughter. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. You know what else would be great? If, because you don't know how much time you have, even if they catch this message, you're fucked either way. Just say where the weakness on the Death Star is so they don't have to go to a planet to find the planets. Just do that.
Carrie,
instead of a
can you post the link of where you saw that?
A 7-minute soliloquy about how much you fucking hope that she's okay and you're proud of her no matter what and blah, 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 blah. Also, the mother at the beginning. Oh yeah, great job. Run out screaming with a gun clearly in view against Orson and his fucking guards. I wonder if you're gonna get murked, you dumb bitch. Like I don't throw that word around often.
I have my own problems with an entire cast of unlikable characters, with the exception of maybe like the two guys that were obviously in a relationship. So, but it's like, other than that, it's like I don't care about any of those characters. You're like, dinner, so don't care. I'm sorry.
As cool as the Vader like fight is at the end there, where he takes out all the fucking rebel fighters there, it does not add any consistency to Vader as a character in the very next story, A New Hope. Why do I see Vader that badass at the end of Rogue One, and then in A New Hope he's like against another fucking robed space wizard? Get the fuck out of here.
Thank you, Carrie.
Guys, I love Solo, and I'll just tell you, it's not a perfect movie and all that, but
I enjoyed Solo as well.
In terms of like Rogue One versus Solo, at least there was merriment to be had in Solo.
Yeah, I would watch Solo again before I watched.
I'm sorry,
Rogue
I'm a
One.
Star Trek fan, guys.
I like if I were to pick between Solo and Rogue One, I would go with Rogue One. Rogue One at least Rogue One at least had like I'll fuck the story in general, but like it was something different.
Yeah, I don't think
it looked
something
very
different
moist for a movie. Like there was rain everywhere.
I mean, I don't mind something different, but like once again, I want something different to make sense.
So my problem. All right, so this is kind of ham-handed because it's the same thing. Like, I had no interest in Solo because I know what happens. I know there's nothing that like when I know the character's fate, it's not gonna keep me interested. But at the same time, I did not get into Andor for the same reason.
Yeah, but I mean that's also why I didn't like for Solo. It's not so much for me. I'm not saying I would go back and watch it. I'm not saying I absolutely adore it. I'm just saying between those two projects, I found Solo to be more enjoyable. However, it's the same issue with both of those projects that you just
I could
listed.
See that absolutely. Yeah.
Because you know what the fate is of these people in Rogue One. They're going to die.
In between doesn't matter to me.
Aquarius, you're going to die. Pisces, you're going to die. Gemini, or something. You're going to die twice.
Fuck yeah, Chris Rock. No sex in the champagne room.
So we just hit the 3-hour mark and it's midnight, so we're gonna wrap things up. But just 2 things real quick. Just this goes back to I don't know, half an hour ago.
Sure.
But when I was in grade school, it had to be around like 85-ish. Even then, we were talking about a rumor of George Lucas said, "Oh, there's gonna be 12 movies." So I mean that's been around for like forever. The other thing is we'll talk about this next week. But this just dropped. The Gremlins trailer.
What?
Secrets of the Mogwai.
Yeah, so we'll definitely talk about this.
Now, I hope it's gonna be as dark as the movies.
It looks like Littlest Pet Shop.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
There's my boys.
All right, I'm in.
If John Glover doesn't have a voice in it, I'm out.
Let's see.
James Hong. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
Wong.
If you guys don't put Phoebe Cates in it, I'm out.
I don't think she's working anymore, dude. I think she's retired.
Yeah, she's been retired for a while.
I don't even think she's in SAG anymore.
I think she has like a little like boutique antique store that she runs, and Kevin Kline is the one that in their marriage that still works. Like
why did I not know this?
That they're married?
Yeah.
Oh, they've been married
Kevin,
forever.
Kevin Kline and Phoebe Cates have been married for a very long time. You're welcome.
Wow.
Not Dave.
Well, on that note, we'll wrap it up. Thank you, Carrie Scuba Diver. This intrigues me. So yada yada yada, you know me, Leo, and Google me, dorkening.com, thedorkening.com. I do a bunch of shows with these fine gentlemen, which they'll tell you all about, and we'll start with Justin.
I just came for the snacks, guys. Thanks.
Okay, fine.
Steve, I've been trying to come up with a way to say this. There's a nerd in everybody. You're car nerds, beer nerds, everything. We talk about it. Listen to our show. You'll get more of what we're all about. Nerds of Unusual Origin, every Saturday. Check us out everywhere, Nerds of Unusual Origin or NOUO Podcasts.
Awesome. Right on.
Just so everybody knows, Justin came for the snacks. I'm the snacks. But hey, everyone, I'm Powerful Brandon.
6 to midnight.
I'm Powerful Brandon. If you want to follow me on social media, you can check me out on Instagram at this Brandon Has Powers and Twitter at Brandon's Powers. Come on over to the Facebook group Powers Combined. We're just a conclave of geeks and nerds that like to share memes, news, info, good times, and laughs to be had by all. Our number one rule there is don't be a jerk. If you violate that, you will be given the stanky boot immediately. If you feel so inclined, we'd love for you to check out a couple of the podcasts we do. I do them with these two with Justin and Leo. The first of which is the Dork Night podcast, in which we discuss and dissect all things Batman. So it's a lot of fun. We delve into the full history of the character and different story arcs. And there's a lot of pros and cons. Two of the three of us are super duper Batman geeks, and the other one is me. And the other podcast that we do, we switch off week to week, every other week with this one. It's called Comics Paradox, in which Leo, Justin, and myself talk about different what ifs or elseworlds, alternate reality stories, takes on characters that we already know and love, as well as different story arcs that occur over time, such as X-Men Age of Apocalypse, or even the Marvel versus DC, DC versus Marvel amalgam comics. In between those two, they drop every Sunday, one, switching off week to week, and you can find them wherever fine podcast or broadcast.
Jar Jar.
Hey, if you watched last week, I'm going to say the exact same thing tonight at some point. And so if you didn't watch last week, go back and watch last week and you'll know what I said tonight. All right.
What an attaboy. What an excellent piece of gibberish.
Wonderful. Love it.
With that, we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Night, everybody.